third down, floats it left side, got Hawkinson,
Yes.
touchdown Detroit Lions. There it is.
Claypool jet motion, play action fake. Pickett's going to run, get to the goal line, touchdown Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett, his second of the game, second of his career.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, what's up, and welcome to week 5 of the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network. Corey Parson, Adam Ronis, no Tom Casale today. Holding it down for him is a face you all should remember, my man, the king, Scott Engel. Scott, what's going on? Welcome to the Bettor Zone, and welcome to your Bettor Zone debut.
Thanks. It's and we couldn't be doing it any better. It's great to be back with you guys. It's gonna be a fun 4 hours.
It sure will. Adam, what's up, my man? Welcome to week 5. What's going on with you?
Definitely going to be an exciting week. Glad to have Scott here. We already have a game in the books and 9 games here again at 1 p.m. Eastern like last week. So it's going to be fun betting, sweating fantasy. Excited to get ready and dive in.
All right, we've already got one game already in the books. New York Giants beat the Green Bay Packers 27-22. New York Giants upset. They not only cover, but win as a 9-point underdog. The over also cashes in this one. Before we get into reviewing that one, let's get ready to start and set the tone for the day. We got plenty of time to reunite and talk about all the good times, but let's get ready to set the tone. And let's start, Adam, in Pittsburgh, where the Buffalo Bills are a 14-point favorite. Kenny Pickett making his first career start in Buffalo. Ronis, the Bills are pretty good the past couple years at laying double digits. They have another chance to do so today.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Usually when the Bills win, they blow teams out. Now, we didn't see it last week. They were playing a competitive team in Baltimore. We did mention to hit their live line when they were down 17, and they did come back and win. So hopefully you cash that. And Kenny Pickett came in last week, was okay. He threw 3 interceptions. One was a Hail Mary late. I think the other one wasn't his fault. But the key that's going to be here is that there are some injuries on the Buffalo side. And also, remember, Pickett came in the game last week. Now, Buffalo had a whole week to prepare for him. You know, he wasn't prepared. The team wasn't prepared for him last week when he came in relief. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch Pittsburgh. They might be able to keep this game close. Or maybe I know Bills blow teams out, but 14.5, that's a big line.
Interesting matchup, Scott, in the AFC. Los Angeles Chargers going to Cleveland. Chargers close at about a 1.5. Some places have a 2.5-point favorite. Cleveland at home. Chargers coming on the road. Justin Herbert and the crew. You know the guys, Big Mike Will, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, the whole thing. What do you like about this game right here coming up, Scott?
I think it might be a little lower scoring than we expect.
I played the over.
I don't
I'm with you on the over, Corey.
Yeah, I think that the Browns are going to try to slow the pace here and control the clock, and they can do that with their 2 running backs because I think the Chargers are vulnerable to the run. So I don't think that I don't feel 100% comfortable about it. You know, I'd be fading this game with the over-under, but you know, Chubb has been playing fantastic. They have Hunt. Jacoby Brissett's been a good game manager. Other than that, you know, the Chargers 340 passing yards for Herbert, and you know Eckler's going to get his. But no Keenan Allen again this week. Mike Williams will be a big factor. Gerald Everett, who really wasn't anything more than a really good blocker until this year, now becomes even more relevant with Keenan Allen out again. Josh Palmer's going to be in the mix, but I think this might be a lower scoring game than a lot of people expect.
Down in Jacksonville, the Jaguars Ronis welcome in the Houston Texans. Despite 8 straight wins over the Jaguars, despite 8 straight wins over the Texans, the Jaguars are laying 7 today at home. Hopefully we can get a big game from Travis Etienne. But what do you think about this one, Ronis, between the Jaguars and the Texans?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm hoping we see a big game from Etienne. The Texans are really bad against the run. So Robinson should have a big day, but you want to see Etienne get in the mix. That's a big number for a Jacksonville team that I think they're good, but all of a sudden we're going to lay 7 with them.
Yeah, let's not get carried away, right?
Yeah, I can't do it. So I know the Texans haven't won a game yet, the last winless team, but I think they could maybe be competitive in this game.
NFC North Division, Scott, Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota closes laying 8.5 points in this one. Chicago coming on the road, and they haven't played terrible so far this season, but we have seen they have had their spots. They can't really throw the football at all. As a matter of fact, they try not to throw the football. But what do you think? We got Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota a big favorite against their division rivals.
Yeah, in a divisional game, I'm never comfortable laying that amount of points because divisional games can often be kind of tight. You know Justin Jefferson is going to get his for sure. Adam Thielen, they can't rely on him whatsoever. But David Montgomery is going to be back today, and that's going to be interesting to see what that backfield split is going to be like. I'm interested to see if they can start moving the ball a little bit more by incorporating Velus Jones Jr. because, Mooney just really desperately needs some help, and Cole Kmet, just can't seem to get it done. They have to play methodical. They have to control the clock. But Minnesota's got too much firepower here. Dalvin Cook is somebody I worry about. A lot of injury analysts and sites I respect say that shoulder could pop out at any time and he can miss 3 to 4 weeks. So that's something to watch fantasy-wise if you have Dalvin Cook too. And I'd be staying away from any props. I know we're after 1 o'clock, but I wasn't touching any props with Dalvin Cook.
We've already got our first big play today. Gabe Davis, 98-yard touchdown catch from Josh Allen as the Buffalo Bills go up 7-0. That big play right there, running from Gabe Davis, that's something his owners have been looking for, and they're glad to see they get it, and they get off to an early start today for Davis.
And he is much needed for Buffalo right now. Isaiah McKenzie out with a concussion. Jamison Crowder on IR. I did pick up Khalil Shakir in a lot of leagues this week. Only played him in 1 or 2. He's going to play the slot. They praised him in preseason. There's going to be an opportunity there for him. But Davis is, a lot of people drafted him in the 4th, 5th round. He was rising up draft board, so you needed that. And right away, a 98-yard touchdown. Even if he doesn't do anything the rest of the day, you're pretty happy if you have Gabe Davis in your fantasy lineup this week.
I was all about Gabe Davis this week on thegameday.com, writing about him, talking about him in my Twitter spaces. When a guy scores 4 touchdowns in a playoff game, that is a major signal that, he's headed for a breakout year. He was not himself the last 2 weeks because of the ankle injury. And, now you're seeing what Gabe Davis is about. Fully healthy, practice all week. And, it'll be interesting, though, Adam. You're right. It might involve Shakir at some point later in the day because they were getting Jake Kumaro involved as well before he got hurt. Yeah. So he might play that role. People were asking, are we going to see James Woods involved? But sometimes you got to be patient with rookies. I want to see that before I act on it.
Hopefully, there's another already cashed a prop that I gave out on Friday on the playbook.
Go ahead, tell them what it is, Ronan.
Nick Chubb, longest run over 18.5 yards. I gave it out last week too. This is now 9 consecutive games. He has a run of at least 20 yards. And the Chargers, I know Scott alluded to it before, they've been getting diced in the run game. And Nick Chubb every week breaks a big play. So we're going to keep riding that prop. Maybe it goes up to 19.5 next week, but he's been doing it every week. They feed him the football. So gave it out on Friday. Nick Chubb over 18.5 yards longest run. And he cashed it with a touchdown, 41-yard run. I mean, Nick Chubb, unbelievable this year, man.
One of the things we do like about Nick Chubb is his ability to break off a big run. We saw that big play from Chubb, that 41-yard touchdown. Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers turned the ball over, muff kick in the red zone. Buffalo Bills in charge again. Ronas, this one right here is interesting. New England and Detroit up there in New England. Bailey Zappi makes the start for the Patriots, going up against Jared Goff and the crew. This one sat about 3 all week. Right before kickoff, it shot down to the Patriots being the 2-point favorite. Money coming in on the Detroit Lions. Listen, we know Detroit, their offense plays well, but you know what? They can't stop nobody. Interesting scenario between Detroit and New England today up in Foxborough.
Yeah, I don't have a strong feel on the sides. I do think you should see good games from both Patriots running backs. Damien Harris from Andre Stevenson was looking at their props, didn't play it. It is tough to take Detroit on the road. Goff doesn't play as well on the road, and the Patriots defense has actually been pretty good considering their opponents. So didn't really have a strong feel. Amon-Ra St. Brown is active, so that's good news. Yes. I didn't play his prop this week because I want to see how he looks coming off the ankle. They do have a bye next week, so interesting game here. But the Lions have been competitive. Like you said, they can't stop anyone.
Yeah, no, they have.
Yeah, they've allowed the most rushing touchdowns to running backs
in NFL history.
in NFL history. I think Rashad Penny had 4 like last week or something like that. But you know, I like to Adam's point though. I was writing about on the GameDay.com. I did like Ramondre Stevenson at plus 140 to be an anytime TD scorer, and you had Damien Harris at minus 105. But I think both those Patriot running backs can score today.
All right, so in Scott, in New Orleans today, your Seahawks go down into the Bayou. Andy Dalton making the start. Alvin Kamara is playing today. He is active. Geno Smith and the Seahawks, man, listen, Scott, they're not playing bad. They've been getting it done. Matter of fact, I like the Seahawks today to possibly win the game straight up versus the New Orleans Saints. Go ahead and tell me about your boys and what you see coming up today, and what should they watch for if you were on the New Orleans Saints side.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Seahawks Legends shirt today. I guess I got to add Geno to it, right? The way he's playing, it's like
I guess so. Walter Jones, Steve Large, and
Geno Smith is like he's surprised the heck out of everybody just by playing respectably. But what's happened here is that he's getting excellent protection from those rookie tackles and making great decisions. The 77.3 completion percentage over the first 4 games is an NFL record. And you're looking at today's game. I don't
relax
expect this to
calm down. Yeah, calm down. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got to be excited about Geno though. It's going to be interesting to watch the battle between Marshawn Lattimore and DK Metcalf, which I think I was looking at a lot of Tyler Lockett props because over 5.5 receptions today at minus 110. I was all about it. You don't get a lot of juice, but I still liked it because I think Geno is going to hit him a lot today. Defensively, they were able to get the Saints off the field on the first drive, but this defense really misses Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams. So I was looking at Taysom Hill props as well, and Alvin Kamara maybe scoring today. When they get in the goal line area, and you can use that RPO with Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara, that's going to be very dangerous against the Seattle defense. But I think when it comes down to Geno Smith versus Andy Dalton, which we all thought was going to be just like a disgusting quarterback matchup if I said this to you in August, I'm going to take Geno over Dalton here. I don't think Geno has a huge day, but I think the Seahawks could win this game. I would take them on the money line.
In the Meadowlands, Ron, not too far from where you're sitting. New York Jets, Miami Dolphins. Jets actually saw some action on this number. Still, we've seen it at 3.5 for the most part. Miami coming in, no Tua for Miami. Obviously, Zach Wilson making his home start this year. New York Jets already get a safety. They're up 2-0. Teddy Bridgewater, Ron, everybody talks about his ATS record, but he has not looked that effective the last couple of times he's been a starter.
I thought he was okay last week. And again, his primary goal is to get the ball in the hands of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, let them make the plays after the catch. Kind of what Tua was doing as well as they brought over the San Francisco system. So I think they can still be competent. The Jets, they're 0-2 at home. It's a big game for them. I see there's a lot of Miami fans there. They get off to a good start here. And, they need to see if Zach Wilson is the real deal. He definitely has weapons on that team. They're actually They're not the old Jets. They're kind of fun to watch. Maybe it'll bring Scott to be a Jets fan again.
Scott, is Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson they brought you back to your roots as a New York Jet fan, Scott?
Only if Joe Namath comes back, but we're getting back to our roots here. Old jokes from Ronas, my Jets, things like that.
I mean, you were a Jets fan. It's a fact. It's not a joke. I don't know why.
Before I seriously started watching football, I like.
Okay, so it's not a joke.
That was about it. But hey, you're a Pitbull fan, so we got to go back to our roots.
See, that's a joke. That's not real. You were a Jets fan, so.
All right, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Tampa, another team has been good at laying double digits the past couple years. But you know what? I feel like this is a different Atlanta team, and I think it's a different Tampa team as well. I didn't go as far as taking Atlanta, but I laid off for this one. I was like, wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons keep this game close and might be able to upset Tampa in this spot.
I don't see it. I agree with you. Tampa is not the same team. I was not as high on them coming into the year as most other people, but you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin back. Julio Jones, who cares? I mean, we knew he was going to get hurt. He's not effective anymore. Yeah, exactly. But I think this is a bounce back spot for Tampa. They're 0-2 at home. They've lost 2 in a row. You rarely see Brady lose 2 in a row. I'm not buying Atlanta. Mariota has played poorly the last couple weeks. They don't have confidence in him throwing the football. No Kyle Pitts.
They just turn around and hand the ball off. And without Patterson, it is tough.
Yeah, so I think this is a bounce back spot for Tampa, and I see them in control here and winning this game pretty easily.
I'm taking every Tom Brady play a prop. The way he's put that offense has performed the last few games up until last week, and then they lost. Tom Brady's going to be angry. He's going to be throwing it all over the yard today.
I think that I don't know. I think we're past that with the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are. I don't think they're that good. You know what I'm saying? I think that.
No, Corey, I don't know if we've had this discussion. I don't think there's a lot of good teams in the NFL right now.
Period.
I just don't.
It's definitely not in the NFC.
Oh, definitely.
Well, Buffalo's really good, but Tampa Bay. I'm just talking about this specific matchup, though. It's like he's got his top receivers back. Like you said, Julio. Who cares, right? But he's got his top receivers back going against Atlanta. Okay. Atlanta has no Kyle Pitts. They have no Cordarrelle Patterson. This is Tampa Bay all the way. I'm taking the over on the total with them. I'm taking them on the money line. I don't care what the juice is.
All right. Well, there you go. Scott has spoken. I just feel as if what I'm saying is this not the same Tampa Bay team. That's what I'm saying, basically.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? I think the NFL, there's so much parity right now. Look at all these teams that are 2-2 that suck. I mean, the Giants are 4-1. Come on, man. They're like one of the worst teams we've seen.
Yeah, but Bill Parcells always said you are what you recognize. So
yeah, but I disagree with that in today's NFL, man.
They're not a Super Bowl team, but they've earned their 4 wins. When you want to be a good team, you beat who you're supposed to beat.
Come on,
and you beat the Packers like you beat
the Giants.
Them
are not a good team. They're not.
No, they're good. They're
not
winning games.
Team.
They're winning games that if you want to be considered a good team, that they're winning. But I'm not saying they're going to make a deep playoff run or nothing, but this shows maybe they can be a wild card team.
Maybe, but they're a product of their schedule so far. To me, today was a good win.
But beat who you're supposed to beat.
And their schedule has been easy, and they've taken advantage of it.
That's
Doesn't
what
mean
good
you're a
teams
good team.
do.
Nah, we don't. They're not a good team. When they're 4-4, you're going to turn around and say they're a good team?
Then I'm going to say I'm wrong. But right now,
right
now I'm saying they look like a good team. They've beaten who they're supposed to beat, and you're discrediting them because of their schedule.
No, but that's part. You have to analyze that. The Panthers are pathetic. The Giants. The thing about the Giants, they are very well coached because they have no wide receivers right now. It's all Saquon Barkley. Dable is coming there. You can see it. There's a change in attitude. There's a belief. You see his excitement. I give him credit. Today was a great win for them, but it's also a pathetic loss by the Packers. Packers cannot lose that game. You want to be a contender, you can't lose that game. I just think there's a lot of parity in the NFL, and these records are so misleading. Going back to what Corey said about Atlanta, they're 2-2. That's not a good team, but there's so much parity right now. It's a week-to-week matchup based more than ever. There's really not a lot of good teams in the NFL. There's maybe 3 that are good. That's it.
I think Buffalo, Kansas City, and I think you want to believe Baltimore is good. You know what I'm saying?
Philadelphia.
But Philadelphia, excuse me. Eagles, but I think we'll find out more about Baltimore tonight.
Right. I mean, look, Baltimore easily could be 4-0. They blew the 28 points in the fourth quarter of Miami, and they blew a 17-point lead. But that's their problem, the defense, especially in the secondary. So I think they're good, but they're 2-2, and they've had a couple of bad losses that you can't give them 28 points in the fourth quarter and lose. You can't.
Those halftime adjustments haven't really gone in their direction. Scott, we do have looks like a DK Metcalf touchdown. So the Saints, the
Seahawks
strike
in the pocket, and he beat Lattimore. Yep.
So the Seahawks strike early in this one. I do got some Rashard Penny shares in Jock Market. See how that goes today. Trying that out for our first NFL Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So happy to get down on that. I'll break down my Jock Market.
That's gutsy. That's gutsy, Corey, because, like the New Orleans run defense, nobody likes it. I know. But if Geno, what people were doing against the defenses were doing against Geno early was they were loading the box. Going into last week, Penny was facing the 6 most loaded boxes and saying, okay, let's have Smith beat us. But now that he's proven that, that he can be respectable and sometimes good, throwing the ball, it's opened things up for the running game. So I like that as a gutsy call.
Ronans, for the second straight week, sharp money, respected money was all over the Washington Commanders. They're at home today versus the Tennessee Titans. I believe this game may have even closed with Washington as the favorite. Is Teddy Bridgewater leaving the field? Yeah, wow. Oh, he can't stay healthy no more. So that's
Who's that third stringer?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's Brian Greasy. I don't know, but that's
Ray Lucas.
Yeah. Oh, Ray Lucas, bald head coming out there, crazy. So, no, that's the thing with Teddy. He gets hurt too much now. Like he's a flag football player. So
you used to love Teddy Bridgewater.
I did used to love Bridgewater, Scott. Man, he almost beat the Seahawks when they was good. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl
almost
era
only
Seahawks.
counts in horseshoes.
That's true too. But with that being said, every time he play now, he get hurt.
Yeah, it's true.
There's nothing we can do about that. But Ron, your thoughts on Washington and Tennessee? And I went back today to the Derrick Henry over 13.5 receiving yards. I think I'm gonna keep going after that one. We'll see how that one plays out. But people once again this week they trust the Commanders. Last week it didn't work. They went right back to them this week.
Yeah, it looks like Bridgewater has an elbow injury and is also being evaluated for a head injury. So as we said, once you get a head injury now, you're never coming back.
It's over, bro.
Yeah. So we'll see on that one. I like Washington today too. Again, I'm really not high on Tennessee, and so far, I mean, it's kind of
you like Washington. You trust them.
No, I don't. But I don't trust Tennessee on the road either. And I think. I don't think Tennessee can generate the pass rush that other teams have given Washington problems with, like Dallas and Philadelphia. So I think McLaurin could have a good game today. We know Dotson is out. Logan Thomas is out. But yeah, I mean, I was able to get Washington earlier in the week in my pool at getting 2.5. Like you said, they closed as a 1-point favorite. So money was coming in on them. Yeah,
you got to like Curtis Samuel as well. Rivera brings him back, and he's a dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands. I think he's had 2 6+ catch games already this year, and he scored touchdowns in the first 2 games. So Curtis Samuel will be another weapon for them as well. And, Carson Wentz was one prop I was looking at today too.
All right, so now we all set up with our 1 p.m. Eastern time starts. Most of these games, obviously, well, not most of them, all these games already underway. Already have a touchdown in Buffalo. Buffalo up 7-0. Touchdown by Gabe Davis. Also, but Pittsburgh is in the red zone in that game right now. Cleveland is on the board. Kareem Hunt with a touchdown run. Also have the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook scores. I said Kareem Hunt. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Nick Chubb. I'm not perfect, Ronas. You know what I'm saying?
It's clear. It's clear. I mean, we're 22 minutes in and you already made a mistake.
Hey, Ronas, I may not be perfect, Ronas, but I am 500 versus you.
No, you're not.
You know what I'm saying? So
I knew that was coming up very quickly.
Scott, would you ever brag that you're 500 against someone? Like, that's the bar. That's where he's like, if I can be 500 against you, I'm great. And you're not, too. You're below 500. So stop.
I see where Corey's coming from. He's trying to say he's even with you as a fantasy player.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the high watermark for him. He's like, if I'm even with him, it's the Hall of Fame status, which is pathetic. I would never brag.
When he plays you in fantasy, he has live scoring on a giant screen TV in his house. He has all these people over,
It's 50-50, you know what I'm saying? You got to respect that. Dalvin Cook has already scored. We've already seen DK Metcalf get in the end zone as well. Seahawks up 7-3 over the Saints. Jets up 2-0. Already told you about Teddy Bridgewater situation. Let's get ready to head out to our first break. When we come back on the other side, take a quick early look at the 4 p.m. Eastern time starts, as well as let you know what happened in London this morning between the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers. We are off and rolling. It's the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Zone. Corey, Nando, and friends. Presented by Mayo Media on Bettor Sports Network.
I'm convinced that Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Babe Ruth is not real. No, it's not. Babe Ruth is not real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. We've been led astray. We've been run amok.
Keep going.
Babe Ruth. I don't know the rest. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. I'm dead serious. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Y'all are never going to get me to believe that Babe Ruth is real. Babe Ruth is like a baseball Santa Claus. I'm not buying it. After I saw those highlights last night of Babe Ruth, I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that Babe Ruth is a real person. Who do you know? There is nobody under the sound of my voice that has ever seen Babe Ruth play. I asked my pop, you ever seen Babe Ruth play? He's like, no. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth play.
I mean, come on.
I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Even Babe Ruth baseball cards, it looked like it's drawn. Like, Babe Ruth is not real. Y'all trying to pull a fast one. Listen, I don't know who made this up. Maybe it was Phil Rizzuto. Maybe it's the Lenny Melnick. But Babe Ruth is not a real person. There's no way. Everything about Babe Ruth is sketchy. If you didn't go to the games, how do you know that it really happened? Or I listened on the radio. You listen to Ovaltine on the radio. That old school radio was all fiction. Everything on old school radio was fake. But you think Babe Ruth is real.
Look, he lived until 1948. So if you find someone who's like 85 years old, they might have remembered him when he was little, when they were a little teenager.
Babe Ruth was made up by baseball purists. I am certain.
You do that thing where you pause the Babe Ruth video and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in. You see like some artist autograph like right here.
Yeah,
some digital art right here. Yeah.
Somebody need to investigate this and see if Babe Ruth is a real person. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth is a fictional character created to make people think that like there was this great jolly old baseball player that drank beers and ate hot dogs and hit 60 home runs. Like the home run record before Babe Ruth was like 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and
but
now
he figured it out. Like who figured out the dunk, right? Like he's just like,
that's like Dr. J or something like. Then Dr. J, probably was before Dr. J, but Dr. J made the dunk famous. Babe Ruth made the home run famous, or maybe that was a way to get people to like. We're gonna make baseball America's pastime, but in order to do so, we need somebody who we can make the face of the sport. And they didn't have no face of the sport. So they're like, okay, let's make him a fictional guy that played for the Red Sox and was traded to the Yankees for like tickets to tickets to cats. You know what I'm saying? Like the Red Sox get a Yankees.
You tried to say
is there any footage of Babe Ruth in the Red Sox uniform? None. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character.
Off Brightwell, powering his way off the left side toward the goal line. Is signal yet? Touchdown Giants. Gary Brightwell powers it in from 2 yards out. Jones lined up left. Saquon takes the snap. Saquon bounces outside. Barkley's in for the touchdown, and the Giants have the lead with 6:08 to go.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL Game Day. Get into the Bettor on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, that audio courtesy of the New York Giants radio network. New York Giants go out to London today, pull off the 27-22 upset victory over the Green Bay Packers. Giants cover as a 9-point dog. Cash on the money line at plus 310 for the most part. So you got everyone on the Giants to win the game outright. Nice little start to your day. Ronus, the Giants, what I've noticed about the Giants is they try to dumb the game down so Jones don't throw an interception, and then they want to get you into the second half, and then in the second half they pick at you. The next thing you know, they're right back in it. Today, their defense does not allow Green Bay to score a touchdown. Green Bay only scored 2 points in the second half. The New York Giants, listen, they're not a great team, Ronus, but an impressive win, especially in given the situation.
No, you got to give him all the credit in the world. Like I said, Dable was a great hire. You could see the change. And Daniel Jones, he's playing great football. He has nothing. Like I said, you can't really judge him right now. He has no wide receivers. What they ran out there today was pathetic. Darius Slayton gave him something. It's a lot of Saquon Barkley. He left this game with a shoulder injury, came back, did score a touchdown as he took the shotgun and rolled to his right and scored a touchdown. They're playing hard every week, and they're a very well-coached team, and that's all you can ask. And they're getting it done. Their one loss is to Dallas, but they're 4-1 in the division, playing well. They deserve a lot of credit. But even Giants fans, I know, they don't think this is a good football team. They're not. They're winning the games they're supposed to, which is a very well-coached team. You could see Dable's excitement. I love that. That's what I want in a head coach. I want someone who's fiery, and you see it with him, and they made a great hire. They still have a lot of issues personnel-wise, but they're doing what they need to do right now to win football games.
I noticed he pointed out the one loss was to Dallas, and you
how about them Cowboys?
Take delight in that, yeah.
It is though.
It is true.
I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, but
I just spit facts. Just for the Giants fans out there, just calm down a little bit. Calm down. You lost to a backup quarterback, but
he's been good, man. That guy don't lose.
I know.
Cooper Rush. Scott,
that's what you
Aaron
want
Rodgers,
from a backup quarterback. That's
he's been in the system for so long. He's very familiar with the offense, very familiar with the way they do things in Dallas. So, listen, I think it's interesting to see Cooper Rush playing. We'll talk about that game later on, Scott. Aaron Rodgers, 25 of 39, 222, 2 touchdown passes, both in the first half of Rodgers. They got away from running the football in this game. Aaron Jones carried it 13 times for 63 yards. A.J. Dillon, 6 carries for 34. Running the ball wasn't a problem. They got away from it, and they couldn't score in the second half. Green Bay 3-2 on the season, Scott. This is not a contender in the NFC, if you ask me.
Is the defense, they're asking a lot of it. It's really coming back to, I think, that they just have no weapons in the passing game. And Aaron Rodgers signed off on this. He knew they were losing Devontae Adams. But, his favorite receiver right now is Randall Cobb. Who's about 3 years past his prime right now. It's they did. But hey, like Apollo Creed, we still tried to keep hitting until we die. So it's so look, Randall Cobb's well past his prime. Daubs, you can't be and Lazard can just be like at best, maybe a number 2 wide receiver. This team is not explosive like they used to be. And if the defense spends too much time on the field and can't stop a team like the Giants, who are really pulling out like all kinds of smoke and mirrors to move the ball, it's a big problem. If you did a futures bet on Aaron Rodgers going back to the Super Bowl, you're not feeling good about it right now.
Can we not use those excuses today for Aaron Rodgers? Did you see the other side with Daniel Jones and what he had to work with? He won the game. So I don't want to hear the excuses. He had better receivers today than the Giants, and he didn't win.
The Giants were better coached today. They outcoached him.
There you go.
They outplayed
him.
They outcoached him. They outplayed him. But Aaron Rodgers is used to having this. Daniel Jones is, like to your point, is doing a great job of overcoming what he knows he doesn't have. Aaron Rodgers is not adjusting to the situation. It's 2 different teams.
On third down today. That's not going to cut it right there. 4-10 on third down.
You said they're not a contender in the NFC. The problem is it's the NFC. So they're probably going to figure and look at the division.
Maybe they are contenders.
You know what I mean? Unless you buy Minnesota, and they've been shaky now. They could get to 4-1 today with a win against the Bears. So, and I did think before the year they had a shot to win the division.
Who would you bet to win the division?
Right now, I would say this. I've been down on Green Bay for the last several years, and they always surprise me. But then in the big spot, they never come through because I think it was just Devontae Adams. And if teams take him out, they had nowhere else to go. Now they don't even have Adams. So I think they still could win the division just because the division's bad. Not because I think Green Bay's good. Again, I'm going to say it repeatedly. The NFC, and even there's just not a lot of good teams. We thought, look at that AFC West. What do we say about the AFC West now? It's Kansas City.
Family.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So that's the thing. Like, we want to count teams out. They're not good, but you got to look at the competition, and they could still win that division. As many flaws as Green Bay has, they can still win this division.
All right.
I like Minnesota. It's like,
because they're 3-1 now.
Kirk Cousins is very scary.
No, because
you like any team that has a good record. Come back.
No, I don't like the Cowboys. They're not good. No, I'm just saying Minnesota is the best. I think of them because Green Bay's got a good defense, but Minnesota's got some firepower. I think.
But they got Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I didn't say they were going to win a playoff game or a national TV game.
Well,
I just said I think I like them the best because I think they'll move the ball with the most consistency. Green Bay could, to Adam's point, though, Green Bay could get it figured out. It might just be an adjustment period. So I see where you're going with that. I want to know what the odds are right now in Chicago winning the division.
Yeah, the division?
They can't complete a forward.
Don't waste your money, Scott.
I was going to borrow it from you and not pay it back.
Yeah, well, if you tell me that's for the Bears to win the division,
somebody to your house. looks like Dalvin Cook just got on the board for the second time today. Dalvin Cook scores a touchdown. So we got an early 14-3 lead for the Minnesota Vikings. Saquon Barkley, 13 carries, 70 yards, a rushing touchdown. Darius Slayton stepped up today for Daniel Jones, 6 for 79 with a touch. Saquon also saw 3 receptions for 36 yards. Randall Cobb, 7 catches, 99 yards. Alan Lazard, 4 for 35 and a touchdown. That's how that one ends right there. All right, so we up and rolling, got everything going. We'll get to the leaderboard in just a little bit. But since we got you here, King, I think nobody is better equipped to discuss what is going on with Russell Wilson than you are. For many years, you carried water for Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? When Russell Wilson left Seattle, everybody in America immediately thought about that's what Scott go to sleep with. So everybody
actually, I have a Corey Parson pop that I go to sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Please leave it up. Please don't bring that to the bedroom, Scott. Now, Scott, what's up with your boy? It comes out this week. He could have a injured shoulder, but he has looked pretty terrible to start this season. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Is he washed up, Scott?
No, he's not washed up, but he's not my boy anymore because he wanted to leave. But that's another conversation. What I think Russ was in the right situation early in his career. When the Seahawks went to those 2 Super Bowls, now people will say, oh, they only won because of the defense. They were a 7-win team with the Legion of Boone and Lynch before Wilson was drafted. Then they had the 3 pillars. They had the defense, they had Wilson, they had Lynch. Then you lost Lynch by 2015. More pressure on Russ. Then you lose the Legion of Boom, and Russ wants to cook. The first half of 2020, he cooks, right? Then defenses figure him out. They play a deep shell and take away the deep pass, and Russ was never really the same since the first half of 2020. He wants to be Tom Brady. He wants to be Aaron Rodgers, and that's not who he is. Russell Wilson needs to be a key component on a very good team, not to build the offense around him. And I think Denver gave him the opportunity to do that, but I don't think that's what the position he should be in. I think it's a combination of let's not build the team around Russell Wilson, and I think it's the coaching. I think those are the 2 components.
What would you say, Rollins, about Russ? No, you can't break it down as good as Scott. You don't have that up close and personal information.
Yeah. I've never sniffed his drawers, so I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we do this kind of stuff? Come on.
Look, I think there's a lot of pressure on him coming there. Look, they made a bad trade. I think anyone knew it long term.
It's a wonderful trade.
Yeah, it was a horrendous trade. Seattle did a really good job getting everything back with the draft picks, and then they go out and pay him all that money. And it doesn't help that Hackett is the coach either. He's obviously done a terrible job because they have Sutton and Judy. They don't even play Alberto, who's talented. Javonte Williams was a big loss, but that was one of the worst games I've seen on Thursday night against the Colts. And I know we're always in the moment and say that, but it really was.
That was terrible.
Right? It was a horrendous game to watch. And now, of course, we're going to hear the injury, so I'm sure that's playing a part. But he was playing poorly before that. He has looked terrible this year.
He looked worse than ever, though.
Injury was coming this week for Russell Wilson. I had a feeling it was going to be injured. You know what I'm saying? Is he going to play though? See, that's the thing. He may be just washed up.
He's only missed like 4 games in his career. He tries to play through it. But
do you take joy in this, Scott? Do you like seeing him struggle? Do you like seeing him struggle like this? Do you take joy in this? Do you like seeing him struggle?
Not necessarily take joy in seeing him struggle. It became a thing of, okay, he's no longer our quarterback, but I want Denver to lose as a Seahawk fan so they get a higher draft choice.
Right, I get that.
Out of that. That's the one thing I was thinking. But to your point about Williams being injured, like I said, Russ needs to work off of a strong running back. And he had a lot of upside as an NFL player because if they can run the ball effectively, that sets up play action. He can hit guys downfield. Now there's less of a chance of having that with Javonte Williams, Mike Boone, and whoever else they throw in there, Divine Azigbo. It's not a good situation in terms of the environment. He'll turn it around maybe to be respectable, but I'm not expecting him to cook anytime soon.
Ronis, do you think Matt Ryan is going to get benched at any point this year?
Probably not. I mean, I think that would help them. I mean, the offensive line has been a major disappointment. That was supposed to be a strength, and it's not.
Yeah,
he obviously is playing poorly too. I doubt that division is just so winnable right now. And they won. That's the crazy part. They're 2-2-1. Let's see what Jacksonville does today.
Money line that night.
Indy?
Yeah, and Indianapolis on the money line.
Dude, whatever side you bet on that game, man, you were just like, oh, why did I do this? Because it was just so painful to watch. But the division is still winnable. So I don't think so. It would have to be really, really bad. He's a veteran quarterback, and I think they're going to stick with him.
That coach in trouble, though, right? Frank Reich?
I mean, he does this every year. They get off to really poor starts, and then they make, these runs. Again, that division is so wide open. We'll find out about Jacksonville. I think we think Jacksonville is good, but let's not anoint them yet. And I was someone who liked them before the year to win the division. I guess I can't count Tennessee out with Mike Vrabel, man. He's never had a losing season.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. And
neither is Mike Tomlin either. I don't know if people realize
that's changing this year.
Yeah, if they have a winning season this year, that's going to be like, just put him in the Hall of Fame now. Like, while he's still on the sideline, because things looking pretty shaky this year. All right, so now that we got a couple of housekeeping things out the way, we got Russell Wilson figured out, thanks to Scott. We reviewed and recapped that night. We're going to take another break. Now, when we come back, will be our first look at the leaderboard from the day, and then we still got to get into these evening starts coming up in the 4 p.m. Eastern time hour. We're just getting started right here on the Bettor Zone, presented by Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Zone. Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
By the way, if you are a commissioner out there, if someone does not pay, that's on you at the end of the day. It sucks. That's why you have to get the money early, because if they don't pay, it's on you. You don't change the prize. A winner shouldn't be impacted because unfortunately you messed up as commissioner. And I've been caught with this before. I've made this mistake. It sucks, and I had to go out of pocket for it. You learn that maybe some of your friends should not be in that league. But, Roan, we see it all the time with commissioner issues, and I can't stress it enough that when it comes down to league payment, it's on the commissioner if they don't have everybody's entry fee and someone decides to ghost them.
Yeah, I had to collect 36 entry fees this year. All of them were collected except one. And it was one of my friends who said he was going to pay the second. I forgot to remind him. He might even be listening, but I know he's going to pay. If not, I know where he lives. But nah, he'll pay.
Big brother Adam Rodas over here.
And even the guy that I've talked about before that usually always pays me at the end, he actually paid on time this time. He usually is like, I'll pay you on Friday, and then it doesn't come, and then it's 4 months later. And he always winds up paying. That's why I don't really get upset. But you've seen my emails, man. I don't play around. Like, no. This is the date. This is the date. You get it in by then. And I always, too, I'm like, the draft order will be determined when everyone pays. Right. So don't hit me up about the draft order. Once everyone pays, then the draft order will be done. And anyone who's been in this league, now Festy can't attest to this because he's never won money in my league, but the people who do win, they get it right away. Usually the next day or two. Just make sure the scoring, especially with football, no scoring changes, as long as it's not like a point victory, half a point, and then they'll get the money right away.
What about 2 points?
Yeah, wait it out just in case something crazy happens. I guess I don't wait till Thursday when the official scoring happens.
Yeah, man. A championship that I was in years ago got reversed, and I ended up winning on a Thursday stat correction.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. You hope it doesn't come down to that. If you're on the better end of that, it's great. But man, imagine thinking you won, you got the money, and then it changes. That's tough.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Henry goes in motion to the right. They fake a screen to him, throw back to Hilliard. He cuts at the 10. He jukes at the 5. He goes straight into the end zone. Touchdown, Titans, for the third time this year. Don throw. Hilliard.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
Back up and Adam right here on the Bettor Zone, Week 5 watch party. The King, Adam Ronis, fantasy executive Corey Parson. While we were away, had a couple of field goals to update you on. Riley Patterson gets a field goal. Jacksonville takes a 3-0 lead over the Houston Texans. Greg Zuerlein kicks one in for the New York Jets. And now a 5-0 lead over the Miami Dolphins. Joey Sly with the field goal for the Washington Commanders. 7-3 in Washington. Tennessee up. We heard Dontrell Hill touchdown, courtesy of the Titans Radio Network. And Nick Folk just knocked in his second field goal on the day. New England Patriots up 6-0 over the Detroit Lions. That game in Foxborough. Patriots rocking the red uniforms in that one right there. I like the Patriots red uniform, Scott.
The Minuteman, yeah.
It's a big Patriots guy this year.
I'm a Mac Jones supporter. You know what I'm
Mac
saying?
Jones athletic supporter, yeah.
Yeah. Scott, you keep them joints fresh, huh? Scott, and them 2013 jokes are still top of your head, huh?
I'm just like Ronis in that regard. Yeah, it's been 6 years since we've been together like this. It's that's a lot of softball games on Long Island.
Jersey now. You should try it.
Mike Florio tells me that Ronis is just like mediocre.
He's lying.
Ronis, you a mediocre softball player, Ronis?
There's a lot of people in this industry you can ask that I've played softball with, and they'll tell you that I'm good. And Florio knows I'm good. That's why he asked me to be on his team, as did Frank Stanfield. And Scott, I mean, you get up from the chair and you pull a hamstring, so don't talk about playing.
Probably my back goes out too. Like
I'm
that
sure.
Too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
By the way, Scott's former team, Life now Jets, Breece Hall, a 79-yard reception all the way to 1. And I was looking at his props this week. I didn't play it, but his total yardage, rushing and receiving, and I'm pretty sure he went over it with that. I think it was in the 60s. So Breece Hall is really emerging right now. He started to see his stock dip in fantasy remember the Michael Carter talk? But come on, man. You knew drafting Breece Hall in the second round that he was going to emerge as the main back on this team.
Yeah, you got to be patient with rookies. You know this, Adam. It's sometimes and
patience with veterans like yourself.
What's really yeah, it's true. Like we got to be really
not a rookie.
Yeah, got to be really patient with Rona. Sometimes he still acts like a 15-year-old. But what's very interesting though, when I was talking about rookies recently, and I was doing this on the Front Yard Fantasy Show, Max Scherzer made a really good point to me because he's very tuned into a lot sports does and there's others. He says, when I throw a bullpen, it's not replicating game intensity. When you get into the game, it's much different. And when these rookies play in the preseason and training camp, there's nothing that can replicate regular season intensity. So, sometimes we got to be patient with some of these rookies.
I got a tie game, maybe soon to be tie game down there in the Dome in New Orleans, as Taysom Hill gets a touchdown run for the Saints. That game should be.
I was on that prop today. Anytime touchdown scorer.
There you go right there.
Man, that ruins everyone else, man.
There you go right there. So, Scott, you get that one home right there. Tie game right now in down there in the Bayou between the Saints and the Seahawks. Taysom Hill gets it in. That was not Andy Dalton. That was Taysom Hill. I don't think
Andy Dalton rushing touchdown. Come on.
What would be the odds on Andy Dalton rushing touchdown? Like what, 5-1?
plus 20,000, something like that.
All right, let's get ready. First update of the leaderboard. Let's start right now. QB1 on the day is Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers 222 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 16 fantasy points. Josh Allen right now, QB number 2, 181 passing yards and a passing touchdown, 17 rushing yards. QB 3, Daniel Jones, 217 passing yards, 37 rushing yards. Scott, the Giants are giving Daniel Jones, a little bit of the offense, enough not to mess it up. 21-27, only 6 incompletions. Also ran the ball for 37 yards. Didn't turn the football over. That's the most important part.
Yeah, that's what they need him to do. It's like Adam was talking about before, how they kind of, like he said, they dumb things down, sort of. the very limited playmakers like David Sills, Darius Slayton. I thought it was 2019 all over again. Don't lose the game once in a while. He's going to take off for a rush, but the defense came to play today. They hit hard.
Russell Wilson is QB4 on the week so far. 274 passing yards, 22 rushing yards, 2 picks. Carson Wentz off to a hot start early, 5 of 8, 126 in the touchdown. Matt Ryan, a horrific performance the other night, 26 of 41, 251, 2 interceptions. Jacoby Brissett, QB7 right now, 57 passing yards, 54 passing yards for Brissett, 1 passing touchdown. Ronis, Brissett, game manager, move the football, get it done. Where I worry about Brissett is if he has to make a play to win the game.
Yeah, and that's what they're just trying to stay afloat until they get Watson back. Obviously, they have the 2 strong running backs, but that is the issue with Jacoby Brissett. You mentioned Wentz. He had a 75-yard touchdown to Diami Brown. And Terry McLaurin yet to record a catch. And by the way, your Derrick Henry prop already catch. He has a 24-yard catch. I mean, I think that's going to be a prop that we have to look at every week, right?
We can hammer that, yeah.
Right? I wasn't – see, after the first week when he had the 6, I was like, I don't know. Then he did it again last week. But where was this the last few years? I don't get it. We know he has that skill set. Where was it?
I think they changed the offense without the lack of explosive playmakers in the receiving game. So now they're trying to use Henry for that.
They only had A.J. Brown, though. It's not like they had multiple. You know what I mean? I don't get that.
You're right. There's no real other change in the offense besides that. Well, maybe Henry said he wanted to do that.
That's been huge not having A.J. Brown, though. It's because, that gave Tannehill when defenses were stacking the box. A.J. Brown just so talented. He can box people out for a possession catch, take off after a catch. It's missing a big element now. Treylon Burks is on IR too.
Josh Allen just threw a red zone interception, targeting Gabe Davis. Could have been a second touchdown look for Davis. Allen throws interception. Kirk Cousins is quarterback 8 on the day, 175 passing yards. Cousins off to a good start. Geno Smith is QB9, 1 passing touchdown, 71 passing yards. Ryan Tannehill, 64 yards with a touch. Tom Brady, 137 passing yards. Zach Wilson, 123 right now. Looking at the running back position, Saquon Barkley already off to a big start. Well, had a big game today, 19 fantasy points, 70 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. Dalvin Cook right now is running back 2 on the day. Dalvin Cook already with 18 fantasy points for Cook. He has 27 rushing yards, and here is one of the 2 touchdowns on the day for Dalvin Cook.
Cousins under center, puts Irv Smith Jr. in motion to the right, 3 receivers right and JJ left. Handoff Dalvin, swings around the right side, 5-4-3-2, touchdown! Let the Dalvin domination continue.
Dalvin domination does continue, 2 touchdowns, 18 fantasy points to start the day for Cook. Matter of fact, update just now, we could have a possible blowout in the Dome, and then up there in Minnesota, Jalen Reagor just gets in the end zone. Words nobody has ever said. Jalen Reagor gets in the end zone now.
It was a shovel pass, okay?
Yeah, it was a shovel pass.
Still, though, that's shocking.
Okay.
Next thing I'm going to hear, Jacoby Myers is getting in the end zone.
Here's something that's bold, guys, all right? I want to see how bold you guys are when you bet.
Let's do it.
Would you take the Bears money line right now at plus 2,000?
No.
Did you just tell me you wouldn't send me any money if I ever?
I know. I want to see if you guys are more bold than me. Like,
if you send me the money, yes. Otherwise, no.
Yeah, I'm not doing it either. I mean, the Bears are not even built to play from ahead. Like,
no, they can't play from. You're right. That's a good.
Do you think they go like, oh, okay, we're down 18. We have.
They're not going to throw.
Right? Do we have Do we have passing plays in our playbook, guys?
The forward pass is not something that the Chicago Bears know about. So there will not be any passes.
It's funny. I think
if he throws 20 passes today.
You know what his
Bears
prop was
created
on
the forward pass, and they also got rid of it.
24.5 passes. His props was 24.5 pass attempts.
I would take under that. Even in the possible blowout, I would take under that.
You sure that wasn't yards?
No, he actually went over his yard prop last week. It was 146.5, which is insanely low for a quarterback, and he went over it last week.
He went for 147.
like 160 or something like that.
He just got there. All right, running back 3, Leonard Fournette, 14 fantasy points, already a touchdown on the day. We saw Melvin Gordon on Thursday night in that horrific football game, 54 rushing yards, 49 receiving yards. Deion Jackson, the running back from Duke, had 62 rushing yards, 29 receiving yards. Nick Chubb has also already been in the end zone today. He is currently RB6, a touchdown and 64 rushing yards. Mike Boone, 38 rushing yards, 47 receiving yards on 3 receptions, 3 targets. Mike Boone had a big play down the stretch of that game. Scott was the only reason why he got any love, really,
he had a
as
big
far as
catch and
fantasy
run.
wise.
I think it was about
at the end.
yards. He actually ran with a little bit of spunk. He looked better than Gordon, I think.
I would agree with you on that. I picked him up. I didn't start him. I did pick him up. You think he's going to be somebody going to be like when bye weeks a flex option RB2?
Yeah, I think so. Not an RB2, but somebody you can get in there as a flex. I would think. He's going to share the bulk of the load. There's some people still hanging on to Latavius Murray. I'm like, why? You can just cut him.
Damn, Latavius Murray was getting picked up on waiver wires when we was doing the Roto Experts.
Yeah,
some things never change. You know what I'm
saying? He was getting picked up when you first bought that Yankee hat.
That's a good one, Scott. This is a new Yankee hat. Thank you very much. A playoff.
Yeah, you had one in 1980 and you bought another one in 2009. Yeah.
Hey, Scott, are you going to be? Are the Mets going to be in the playoffs tomorrow?
I think so, but don't ask me what's going to happen with the Dodgers series. No, I don't know, but I don't think the Yankees are getting past the Astros either. So it's.
Still plenty of time to talk baseball.
At least our players show up for workouts, unlike Aroldis Chapman.
Don't worry about he shouldn't show up.
Austin Eckler was saying that Derek Jeter isn't a real person either, right?
We've never seen that guy anywhere.
People have seen Derek Jeter, you know what I'm saying? Including us, Scott. We've met Derek Jeter in the Yankee clubhouse, Roto Experts at the park. Austin Eckler, 83 rushing yards, 10 receiving yards. Eckler with 10 fantasy points in the early going. Aaron Jones, 63 rushing yards, 17 receiving, 10 fantasy points. Breece Hall, Ronan, you mentioned him earlier, had that one big reception. He does have 6 rushing yards. He has 1 reception for 79 yards. The New York Jets, interesting today. They could be live.
Well, as you say that, the Dolphins did find the end zone. Raheem Mostert with a rushing touchdown. He's 5 for 28 in a touchdown today. But with Breece Hall, he had that long reception, and then Michael Carter scored a 1-yard touchdown run. But I do think, things are looking good for Breece Hall. He's getting more involved, playing more snaps. What?
People get frustrated like that. Like they'll see a 79-yard catch from Hall and say, okay, punch it in, put it on top of it. But then they'll pull him to the sideline and throw the other guy in to give him a breather.
It does suck though. I mean, because if you have a close matchup, that touchdown sometimes could decide the week. But we understand.
But a 79-yard reception is 8 points, 2 more than a touchdown.
Right, but a touchdown is 6, and if you lose by 3, you're like, damn, he should have gotten a touchdown. But you're going to go through that with a lot of players. It's just part of the game, and you understand that's just kind of how it's going to be at times. You're going to come out on the positive side, and other times you're not. And if you're betting props too, if you had a touchdown prop on Breece Hall, that sucks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Looks like we just got another touchdown in Buffalo. Gabe Davis with touchdown reception number 2 on the day. So Gabe Davis coming back in a big way for his fantasy owners. Travis Etienne, RB12 on the day.
Oh my God, man. Gabe Davis is like, you know how many yards he has now?
He had 200.
160, man.
160
on 2 catches.
First half. And I should have played him in jock market.
Everybody in the preseason, there were 2 fantasy schools of thought. I was on the Gabe Davis train. Like, you score 4 touchdowns at the highest level of play, like except for the Super Bowl in the playoffs. That means
same
something.
thing. Jordy Nelson
a lot
did.
of fantasy analysts I respect.
Did.
That was a lot of fantasy analysts that I respect, though, that were saying that, getting into the analytics and saying that he wasn't going to do it,
I was with you too. I did draft him in several leagues because you also have to remember too that he didn't play a lot of snaps last year in the regular season. And I think they were bringing him along slowly. And then when he did that in the postseason, look at their offseason moves too. They showed, okay, we have confidence in this guy. And obviously a slow start to the season with the ankle issue. And, they really need him today with Crowder and Mckenzie out. And he's stepping up. I mean, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, and 2 huge plays.
Did you see that last catch was like one-handed. With the DB all over him?
Pass interference, one-handed catch.
Yeah.
So right now we got a 17-3 lead for the Buffalo Bills up there. Bills Mafia off to a good start today. Kenny Pickett getting ready to see what he can do. Scott, Travis Etienne, 55 rushing yards, 20 receiving yards. Etienne is like, okay, I feel like I'm still optimistic that Etienne is going to pull together with a pretty decent fantasy season. I think the James Robinson thing is really slowing him down, but you want to start to see him score some touchdowns, though.
Yeah, I think what the Jaguars wanted to do is like a lot of teams, they wanted to have one inside running back and another that catches passes, can operate in space, be a slasher. And I think, like we said before, sometimes you got to be patient with rookies, and this is a good matchup for ETN to come through. And especially if you tried him in fantasy, the Texans allow the most fantasy points per game to running backs.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Off to a good start then.
That's why I'm here, Corey. That's why.
Good job, Scott. That's why I'm here.
Isn't that what you used to say?
That is what I used to say.
Yeah.
But back to ETN. Look, I think they have to use him more. He's the more explosive player. We're seeing it today. 4 carries for 55 yards. Robinson is 7 for 26, and ETN has a 20-yard catch. They don't have a lot of speed on this offense. They've got to get him involved in this offense more.
Well, that's one.
You got to be impressed though with Robinson has come back and done though.
Yes,
Achilles so late last year.
Yes, but we are starting to see like he's had a couple of big runs where he's had huge holes this year, and I know they count, but you're seeing it today. ETN's more explosive.
This is why I originally took Adam Bronis out of the penitentiary and helped him become a fantasy analyst, because he says things like this. Because I hate Adam when some fantasy analysts.
I know, take away that. I know.
If you take away that run, he only had this. A lot of people I respect do that.
By the way, some injury updates. Teddy Bridgewater is out with a concussion and elbow injury. We knew
Skylar Thompson, the rookie, is their third string quarterback.
7th round pick. And Damien Harris, questionable return with a hamstring injury. That's big if you have Ramondre Stevenson.
I spent on Jock Market. I used Ramondre Stevenson. So hopefully that leads to a big day
today.
Yep. No doubt. So hopefully that ends up working out good for your boy. Let's get to the wide receiver leaderboard. And so far, it's been working out good. If you have Gabe Davis in your fantasy lineup right now on the day, Gabe Davis, 160 receiving yards, 2 receptions, both of those receptions for touchdowns. And here's the first one.
Snap. Josh handles it. Back to throw. Pocket collapsing. Fires a deep one downfield. Looking for Gabe Davis. Makes the catch at midfield. He's going to sail into the end zone. Gabe Davis at the 20, at the 10. Touchdown. Holy mackerel. 98 yards. Touchdown. Gabe Davis on 3rd and 10 at their own 2. That's a way to start. Holy mackerel.
Holy mackerel. Gabe Davis already with 30 fantasy points on the day. We're not even at halftime yet. Justin Jefferson, no gritties. But he does have 122 yards receiving. Randall Cobb, 16 fantasy points, 7 catches for 99 yards. Hey, Scott, they got if Randall Cobb is your top option, do you really have a top option?
No, we talked about this. I don't mean to change the subject here, but what's all this Josh Kelly action here for the Chargers?
I know. I mean, look, and Eckler
now he's catching passes.
I know. I mean, look, Eckler has 5 carries for 108 yards. So, and one was a 71-yard run, and he does have a 10-yard catch. But he did say, he didn't want the full workload. He spoke about it openly. So, I guess they're heeding what he's saying.
They've always been looking for a physical complement to him. So,
and he did have Kelly had the touchdown though. That's the problem. Is Kelly had the rushing touchdown. Yeah. So it does suck if you have Eckler.
Yep. But there's still a lot of football to play. So
yes,
there you go. There's still plenty of time. Alec Pierce, 81 yards on that terrible game the other night. He did have 16 fantasy points. Here's an interesting one. Mari Cooper, 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Cooper been doing all right. A lot of people, I know a lot of fantasy analysts were off on Cooper, including myself coming into the season. I did end up getting him in on one auction. I paid $5 for him. And he's been in my lineup every week except one. He's doing a halfway decent job as that number 1 target in that Colt offense. I mean, excuse me.
Well, to be fair, he's had 2 really down weeks. Last week, 1 catch for 9 yards, and week 1, 3 for 17. Now, 2 and 3 were great. 9 for 101 and a touch, 7 for 101 and a touch. And then today, he's doing well. So we know this. There's going to be inconsistency. They don't have enough volume in the pass offense to support, multiple people. We'll see it so far today. David Njoku doesn't have a target. He's been a tight end people have been looking at. But, yeah, I think with Cooper, too, I was the same way with you. If he fell too far, and I did get him in 2 leagues where he fell, I wasn't targeting him. It was like round 6, 7. I'm like, all right, I'll take Cooper as my wide receiver 4 or 5. And remember, too, when Deshaun Watson comes back, it's going to really get better for him, assuming Watson is the same player.
Well, see, here's the thing. This is what I'm thinking. Stay with me right here. He notoriously does not like cold weather. A lot of his problems in Dallas would be taking himself out of games. He'd like to play at home because of the controlled environment. You get some of these outdoor games in Cleveland. Do you think it could be at some point this season, would you consider selling high on Cooper if he continues to get it done? It's hard to sell wide receivers because running backs are really what's needed. You know what I'm saying? But it's a thought that, you could look into.
Yeah, I think you hit it, though. It's like he has this reputation in fantasy as being inconsistent, and he's still going to be the most heavily targeted player in that offense. So I think the targets are going to be there. And if you get improved quarterback play, I think that should help him.
You don't like the cold weather either, do you, Corey?
I'm fine with
Nah, you don't. That's why you left New York, man. You're like,
I'm living too cold, man.
Too cold. I go outside, I'm freezing.
My back is stiff. Anyway, oh my goodness, very childish, Scott. Trying to read the leaderboard.
I'm waiting for you to say it was childish.
Miami Brown, 75 receiving yards and a touchdown. That score that game is Washington up 10-7. I believe Washington.
What is this? Diami Brown and Jalen Rager tonight? What is
this?
Bizarro fantasy world.
Yeah, no, trust me. Nobody was expecting this one. Diami Brown does get in the end zone, though. Darius Slayton, 79 receiving yards for the New York Giants at 13 fantasy points. Alan Lazard, 35 yards. A touchdown for Lazard, 13 fantasy points. Cortland Sutton, 74 receiving yards on 11 targets, 5 receptions. Got it done. Scott, right now, wide receiver 10 is your boy, DK Metcalf. He has 50 yards receiving and a touchdown. All of it came on 1 catch. A lot of people coming into the season was worried about Lockett and Metcalf with Geno Smith. So far, if you took a shot, it ended up pretty good, Scott.
Yeah,
Taysom Hill with another touchdown.
Yeah, man, come on, stop this garbage.
Yeah, get the ball to Alvin Kamara, please.
Everybody thought DK was going to look pretty small like this, with Geno Smith at quarterback, but Geno knows how to get him the ball. It's not going to.
Do you have DK Metcalf in every league then?
No.
Okay.
I'm in like 15 leagues. There's no way you can get him.
It's too much.
In every league.
You have him in 8?
I have him in 3, I think.
That's it. Okay. I figured, but everyone was below market on him, so I figured
I got a lot of Lockett because he kept dropping to the 11.
Yeah, he really dropped.
Here's the thing: it's not like when they threw the ball with Russell Wilson, like with the moon balls and the big plays. Now it's more about get Metcalf the ball and let him do more of the work, or try to hit him on a slant, try to hit him on a 9 route or something like that. And see what he can do from there. And the numbers have been respectable. Certainly, they haven't been major explosive like we've seen in the past. But you can start him as every week. People were like, "Should I even draft Metcalf? Can I start him?" And people were leaving Lockett, and Lockett hasn't scored a touchdown yet this year. But at the same time, he's putting up decent PPR numbers, and I know that 17-10. They've had some drives that have sputtered since the Metcalf, but again, this is why I personally don't watch the live scoring, because so much is going to play out until 7 o'clock.
So what do you do if you don't watch the live
scoring on the show?
I don't. I just
or you can leave now.
Did you said in the interview, I don't watch the live scoring.
I don't because I don't need the extra anxiety. Whatever. It's things are going to play out like they're going to play out. I know.
Dude, you have plenty of anxiety from the Mets the last couple of days.
There's much more. That's true. And I'm getting extra working with you today, but that's besides the point.
Get used to it.
But with live score, I know who in my mind who I have and how they're doing, so I don't need to either.
We just saw where Stephon Diggs caught a touchdown pass. Josh Allen has 3 touchdown passes on the day. If you had the New England Patriots defense as an anytime touchdown scorer, you can go ahead and cash that ticket as the New England Patriots defense gets into the end zone. So right now we got every game is pretty deep into the second quarter. Some games actually approaching the 2-minute warning. So let's get ahead right now. Let's take a break. Let's come back, look at some live lines as we get ready to approach halftime. Also, if you want to get involved, come kick it, holler at me and Scott. If you got the app, hit that call button. You come and holler at us and kick it like old school, like old times. You know what I'm saying?
Getting along well.
Everybody is getting along well. So also comments, concerns, anything you want to bet on, anything you want to talk about, you can throw it in the chat. We got you covered right there. We having a good time. It's our version of the Roto Experts cast on Bettor Sports Network. You know what I'm saying? But good stuff right there. Happy to have everybody involved. It's a reunion of sorts right here in Week 5. When we come back on the other side, we'll take our first look at some live odds going down right now. It's the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Zone.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for waffles.
I eat breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's the equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got the steak sandwich, which was
steak sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man.
I'm not an odd guy.
Yes, you are. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough, smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that. No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the steakhouse.
Do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse to get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look.
The name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles, man.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Snap, Brissett back to pass. Pocket's good. He's looking left corner of the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Murray Cooper! And the Browns offense is on fire. They're 2 for 2.
3rd down and 5. DJ Dallas in the backfield now with Geno. Trip set, 3 receivers to the right side. Shotgun snap. Here comes the rush. Gino has time. Stand strong. Got some running room. Pump fake. Now he's going to lay it up over the top. Got a man mid-cap. He's down to the 15. The 5. He's in. Touchdown. Seahawks.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, back up on Adam. Into the 2 p.m. Eastern Time hour right here on the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network. The Bettor Zone, a place where friends chill and watch football, react, have a good time, chop it up, you know what I'm saying? And glad right now, very happy, speaking of friends, to spend some time with a good friend, an original, one of the guys who was really a big-time supporter when we were doing our thing back in the Sirius XM days. Happy to welcome in my man, Brian Ambrose. Brian Ambrose, get up in here with us, brother. Where you at, Brian? So you're getting ready to get Brian up right now. We'll get Brian on and holla at him. Brian, what's up, my man? What's going on with you?
What's a reunion without you guys letting me pop in?
What's going on, Brian?
What's up,
brother?
What's up, Scotty? What's up,
Good to
Corey?
see you, man.
What's up? Terrible shirt you're wearing, but
you have to go back to calling you Parsons.
Now you can call me. It's Corey's fine. What's going on, B? What's up with you? How's everything going? You got your boy's a big boy now playing high school football out there in New Jersey. How's he enjoying it?
Oh, he's loving it. And actually, this last Monday was nice. We played up against Seton Hall Prep. He played every snap, both sides of the ball. It was fun watching him do that. He's playing JV and varsity. You know, he's growing. He's just turned 16.
Hey, B, how was you're one of the top fantasy baseball players, you know what I'm saying? Done it high stakes wise, you know, you may have even been in some expert leagues, you know what I'm saying? How'd the fantasy baseball season work out for you? Ronan's finishing 8th in Tout Wars.
No, I didn't. I finished 5th. Get it right.
I'm sorry. Ronan's finished 5th in Tout Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Corey, I won labor in 1976.
Yeah.
Scott won labor in 76. They did a recount, and there was a mistake. You didn't win.
Hey, I won my National League Only Experts League this year, though.
Oh, great. You're so good.
Yeah. I am.
How was your year, Brian?
You know what? I was a bridesmaid a lot this year. I got no chips, but a lot of second and third.
Corey is too very often.
I should have known before I said that. I said that. Look, 15-team leagues, second and third cash, so I can't complain. But we know that's not what we're going in for. We want to compete for that overall. We want those first place finishes. But draft champions cashed in 5 of 6. Had a rough outing in the main event. But money will sit in the account. We'll put it back out there for next year. Going a little stronger. This year was tough. On baseball.
All right, cool. Just go ahead and run it back. How's the football season? What kind of start you off to in the fantasy football season this year?
Well, my big league, I took a little bit of a beating with Keenan Allen and Gabe Davis taking a seat for a couple of weeks, but it's nice to see Gabe back, giving me a nice start for the day. So I can't complain about that. A couple NFFC ones that they're mediocre, but it's a long season. We'll see how they play out.
What about I know you said you had mentioned something about Joe Burrow. He's got a big game, and you know what? Burrow and the Bengals last year, they were the first team to expose the back end of that Ravens defense. Joe Burrow lit them up twice last year. I think the Bengals are alive tonight, to be honest with you. And I love the Baltimore Ravens, but I think you get a good night from Burrow tonight, and I think the Bengals can go in there and upset them.
I was thinking that I would have a good night with Burrow because Baltimore's D's been pretty solid against the run.
He is though. The one thing that the Bengals are messing up, and they did this against Miami. They kept running the football. When Mixon was averaging 2.7 yards per carry, when they threw, they were picking up chunks of yards. They got too run happy. They cannot make that same mistake. They're just not running the ball well. You have Chase, you have Higgins, you have Boyd, Hurst. You got to let Burrow throw that football tonight against Baltimore. Stop with the stupid runs when it's not working.
But Baltimore's D-line could wreak a little havoc too, though. On that offensive line, but
they've done a better job. They've done a better job. Burrow said that last game against Miami was the cleanest pocket he's ever had in the NFL. And the last couple of weeks, they haven't sacked him as much.
Yeah, he got off to such a bad start with the sacks, and I think he threw for 500 yards against the Ravens one game last year, and he historically has good numbers. I'm all about the over. I don't care what the juice is, on this bet for tonight. And he's looking at a lot of player props in this game. I like Tyler Boyd as an anytime touchdown scorer. I was writing about that on the GameDay.com.
Well, you would have to think with such a bad O-line, wouldn't they get Mixon more involved in the passing game?
And they
those
don't.
Short passes quick.
They just keep running him into the line, and it was embarrassing. I mean, they were fortunate that they were able to win that game against Miami, but the play calling was horrific.
So which one of us wants to go take a job as an offensive coordinator there?
I think Adam's ready to do it.
I'm ready to do it. Why not?
Yeah.
They're in the opposite conference of the Cowboys, so and then if I'm there and they get Super Bowl against Dallas, then I just
you don't think you can do it, Corey?
No, Adam is not fit to be offensive coordinator. He's not kind of personality. You know what I'm saying? Right. He doesn't have Adam's brain is not big enough to be an offensive coordinator. He's
the guy who made a mistake 20 minutes into the show.
He's a mediocre fantasy analyst. He's a mediocre fantasy analyst.
You can't even say that with a straight face. It's so bad.
I can't give you that.
That's Adam Rona's ceiling is a mediocre fantasy analyst. B, what's going on? I know back in the day, every now and then, you know what I'm saying, the clip will pop up of one of your calls to the Roto Experts when you guys when you pretended to have your son put together a daily fantasy baseball lineup to beat me. You know what I'm saying? That was a good one right there. What you sweating today? You got any DFS, any bets on the line, or you just got your feet up watching it and watching your fantasy teams?
These days, I'm taking it easy with DFS. I do a lot of parlays. I like 8 to 10 legs. You know,
you're trying to hit some big ones.
Game. Yeah, I like playing that game. I cashed out on one last week early, and I probably shouldn't have, but I was kind of talked into it. But it would have wound up winning.
You like the same game parlays?
I don't really like the same game. I like doing like 8 to 10 different games, alternate lines, the overs, some touchdown scores, receptions.
I like the alternate lines.
I actually have one that's pretty live right now. I don't remember every pick on it. It's going to end with the Mets win tonight. So if that happens and comes down to it,
let's
go Mets. Imagine I'm saying that. Let's go Mets.
Come on, Corey, say it. Say it, Corey. Let's go Mets. Come on, Corey. Come on.
I'm not saying that.
Unlike my buddy over there, I don't mind rooting for the other New York team. I don't have a problem with it. You know,
I'm gonna do it. Our boy Chris Vaccaro, you know what I'm saying? He needs if you get a Yankee Met World Series, our buddy Chris Vaccaro gets a packed ball. You know what I'm saying? So I root for that. You know what I mean?
Listen, Yankee Met World Series is going to cost me some serious dollars.
You'll be at every game.
We go Yankees Mets. I promised Adam he's in, and I got Lou that wants to go. So there's 3 ticks right there. But it's got to be in the Bronx, Adam.
I'll still go.
What did they get? What would the Yankee fans do to Adam in the Bronx, Corey?
Nothing. We've got.
They pull his ponytail out. They pull his ponytail out.
Take his personality.
Hey, if the Mets win, I don't care. They can chop it all off. I could care less.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You would sign up for that now? A Met World Series win and no ponytail?
Absolutely.
Oh, we may have to get this. We may have to.
Yeah.
I gotta tell Finsty about this
so they can Bettor Sports Network.
So they can bring it up on the playbook. You know what I'm saying? And we may have to tell Finsty about that. Yeah, exactly. That audio will be pulled for tomorrow by the producers in the back. Hey, B, thanks for hanging out with us, my man, and definitely appreciate you. And we'll be in touch. And when you're down this way, we got to get up.
I'll be down that way 2nd or 3rd week in February. Nephew's getting married. Heading down to Myrtle, and then we got a wedding up in Wilmington.
There you go, right there. My man is good as done right there. Thanks.
Great to see you, Brian.
Myrtle Beach is about 2 hours up the road, but we'll make a trip up there.
Listen,
Brian, don't make plans. It's not happening.
If I don't catch you at Myrtle Beach, Brian, I'll be up in the city soon. You know that. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get it done.
January 50th birthday party for this guy. Come visit.
Oh, no doubt. And that's as good as done right there, my man.
Well, that's cool because Scott's 85th is coming up.
Some things never change.
And you know, you said your son just turned 16, so did Adam. He dresses like it. He acts like it.
Right. I'm youthful.
Hey, Brian, good looking out, my man. Appreciate you for hopping on.
Later, guys.
All right, there you go right there. Be like Brian. Download that app, hit that call button, hop on and talk trash with us. All right, so now we spent some time with Brian. Now we'll go to a break. When we come back, I promise you, we'll get our live looking at some odds, and we'll also start to get you ready for the 4 p.m. Eastern time starts. Having a blast today, Week 5 action and reaction right here on the Bettor Zone on the Bettor Sports Network.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Bettor Zone.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got
Body
hurt.
didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
To get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it, and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he'd finish with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he could put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man. Yeah. So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Snap to Wentz. Here comes pressure. Throws it deep down the left side. It is intercepted by Diggs.
I think what Diggs has done over the last through this year and through last year, what he's put on tape, he kind of put himself a little ahead of other guys in terms of what he can do in terms of taking the ball away. That's a tough thing. You can have guys that can match up across the board. That's a great challenge.
Bettor Zone.
All right, Week 5, Bettor Zone. Corey, Scott, and Adam kicking it with you on a Sunday afternoon. You want to hop in and join the conversation, hit that call button, and come hang out with the homies as we take you through these 1 p.m. Eastern time starts. Getting ready to set up and get you ready for the games coming on a little bit later up to this afternoon in that 4:20, in that 4:25, 4 o'clock block. That Trayvon Diggs interception, courtesy of the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Dallas today, this afternoon in Los Angeles. That's going to be a home game for the Cowboys to take on the Rams. A lot of sharp money on the Dallas Cowboys. We'll break that down in a little bit right here. Buffalo Bills also add to it. The route is on right now. Buffalo up 30-3. What's that guy everybody picked up this week, Adam?
Good call, Adam. Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, I said it at the end of on the playbook on Friday. You could hear that weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern to end the show. I said, look out for Khalil Shakir this week if you're in a deep league, pick him up. I did pick him up in many leagues. I didn't play him in every league, though. But I figured that, again, with Isaiah McKenzie likely to be ruled out, we didn't know he was officially out today. We knew Jamison Crowder was on IR, and they talked about him a lot in the preseason. He was going to play the slot today, and he's having a big day. So if you did start him, it worked out. And, at least I have him now in a few leagues. And because, again, if there's any offense that you want to be invested in. Oh, the other thing was Dawson Knox was out, too. Not that Knox has done much, but we have seen Knox be a red zone in the past. So they kind of need Shakir to step up. And when you have Josh Allen throwing you passes, you want that. So Allen, and Corey, you said it earlier, man. When Buffalo usually wins, they blow teams out. Because I saw the same stat. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but they tend to win by double digits, especially against inferior opponents.
Since 2020, I believe it's like 7-0-1 or 7-1-1, something like that.
Yeah, I had
as
it
far
a
as their
couple weeks
success
ago.
rates
Yeah.
of laying double digits. The Buffalo Bills very good at that. Like you mentioned, Ron, they when they get on top of you, pause. They get on top of you. Scott should win.
Yeah. I was going to say something, but I refrained.
Yeah, thank you, Ronas. We got to keep these jobs, bro.
Yeah, Scott, I don't like this new Corey. Like he's corporate.
No,
Corey.
you
Who's this?
I gotta be. I need this is safe Corey. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I don't like corporate Corey.
Corey's always been safe. It was all a mirage.
he called you a fraud. Wow.
You see that, right? You see how that's my boy supposed to be? All right,
I didn't say fraud. I just said, there was one personality on the air, and then was the Corey we all knew. Drank milk, and all of that.
Yeah, whatever.
Scout's about to be happy.
Oh,
yeah, I just saw the Tyler, and there's my call. I was saying Tyler Lockett, with the Gino, Seahawk legend.
Dude, I picked up Gino this week in the league and started him, man. I'm having troubles at quarterback, and I
was doing that 2 weeks ago.
What?
I was doing that 2 weeks ago, recommended it 3 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, you're a homer. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Last week against Detroit was a good play. I mentioned him. I had him ranked like 15, 16 at quarterback. I thought this might have been a tougher matchup, but I was like, you know what? I'm playing him. He's playing well. He's got the weapons. I don't think the Saints defense is that bad, but he's just playing too well right now, and he's got, the weapons. And, you mentioned the completion percentage. So I said, yeah, I'm going to roll with it. So, he's. I mean, you're happy. All right. Look at the first half. 2 touchdown passes.
Gino's like me. You leave the Jets and you move on to great things.
Yeah. So do you have a Gino? Do you have your Jets Gino jersey, and now you're going to get one for Seattle?
I only liked Namath when I was a kid, so it wasn't even. I've been a Seahawks fan longer than you've been alive, so
I mean, you're old, bro. Like we already said, you're going to be 85. I don't know if you want people to know, but
you act like a 14-year-old, so it's all fair.
Better than looking 85.
Well, you got gray in your ponytail. I hate to break it to you.
All right, let's get it. Lie, relax. Corporate Corey steps in here. Cleveland
Corey's
Browns.
got gray.
Corporate Corey. Back on track.
A lot. Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Chargers. Cleveland 21, Los Angeles 17.
Yeah, we were
right now
over Corey, so that's looking good.
That is looking good because the live total is 62.5. So we should get there on the over. Live number, Ronas, Cleveland laying 2.5 in this one. The Chargers coming back at plus $1.25. I don't see it here. I just want the Chargers to cover for my teaser.
Yeah, look, this has been a back and forth game.
Nice.
We've seen no turnovers in this game, no sacks. It's been all offense. I think, again, we both thought, the Chargers are just, the Chargers are such a difficult team to figure out because they have all this talent. They've had a lot of injuries. You bury them and they come alive. It's difficult to trust them. And
the Chargers are good on the road, though. Herbert's been good on the road, so this could be a spot to take this Yeah, that's true too. This could be a spot to take this plus money on them.
And I've been
the game.
disappointed in the Browns defense this year. I thought they would be better. They've had a good schedule to start. I like them. Their schedule to begin the year, and I was drafting them. They have not lived up to what we expected. I know Clowney is playing today and Garrett as well, but they haven't been great.
Pass defense has not been good. No.
Yeah, and Clowney, boy, I tell you talk about can't miss prospect. Jadeveon Clowney.
He's played for more teams than you.
Yeah, I know.
He does pass around more than you.
About. Hey, relax, Adam. You must be talking about Scott. All right, Seahawks, Scott. Seahawks close as a 5.5-point underdog, Scott. Right now, halftime, they have a 2-point lead. You want to get in on this one live. Total 57.5. Seahawks a 1-point favorite. The Saints, the Seahawks are a 1-point favorite, but they're minus 105 on the money line. I'm all right the Saints, with that. Minus $1.25. What do you think, Scott? Seahawks pull this one off?
Yeah, I think I think at minus 105, it's a good play. You know, key point before the half was that they forced a Kamara fumble. For those of you starting starting him in fantasy, but it was another forced turnover by, and you'll find this interesting, Adam, because I know that there's a homage to your favorite player of all time, Kobe Bryant, the rookie defensive back, forcing another turnover there, forcing the fumble, and then the rainbow really from Geno Smith to Tyler Lockett. So, yeah, I'd be okay with getting on the money line with minus 105. Not a ton of juice, but I'd do it.
I think the good thing, though, with Kamara, at least he's involved in the passing game. He has 3 catches for 26 yards and 10 carries for 50 yards. I think we thought, okay, this has been a bad defense. This should be a week. But Taysom Hill is just killing him at the goal line, man. 5 carries, 39 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That absolutely ruins the upside of Kamara, man, taking these touchdowns away. So, and Chris Olave, 3 for 38. I have his over 62.5 receiving yards. So I need him to make a couple more plays to cash that one.
That'd be a good one right there.
Rona's always looking to get over, so yeah.
And anybody on Kenny Pickett to throw an interception, that just cashed.
But didn't you have that? You had that.
Yeah, I had that. I had that. Kenny Pickett to throw an interception.
The thing about Taysom Hill, though, is I recommended him a lot on the GameDay.com over the late in the week, because a lot of people are looking fantasy-wise to replace Kyle Pitts. And I said, you can play Hill. And on CBS, you can even play him as a running back. I said, the Seahawks don't tackle well against the run. And then when they get near the goal line and they can have that RPO with Kamara and Hill, that's really going to be a problem.
Well, I guess, too, he became a little bit more appealing when you look at not just Kyle Pitts this week, Logan Thomas, Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
And I think there was one more.
And just so many people struggling at tight end.
Yeah. No, if you don't have one of the top ones, I mean, and even, everyone talks about Pitts. Darren Waller has been quiet, too.
Yeah, he might have a good bounce back game, though. It's like fantasy wise, this is a game to attack. I think, give Derek Carr another week of starting. The Chiefs have allowed the 5th most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. He historically performs well well against the Chiefs. What's the spread on that Raiders Chiefs game,
7.
Corey? 7. Yeah, I would definitely be taking the points with the Raiders because they're coming off their first win, and this is a hated divisional rivalry.
Hold on to that right there with that Raiders analysis, because I want to ask you. Okay. I want to get your opinion on that game. So let's continue to go through these. First half, we're at halftime in Jacksonville, 6-6 between the Texans and the Jaguars. Ronas, if you want to hop on the Texans, it's plus 210. Jacksonville live laying 4.5.
Well, we mentioned this earlier. I had a real problem laying 7 with Jacksonville. They're just not accustomed to being in this spot. Are they an improved team? Yes, but it's also a division rival. Now, Jacksonville is dominating play, though. 236 yards to 120. So they're just having trouble in the red zone right now. I can't take the Texans' money line. I just can't. I just don't think they're that good. We need to see Etienne. Again, we talked about him earlier, 6 for 61 on the ground. In the air, he's got 1 catch for 20 yards. And Robinson, a lot of people were on Robinson this week for DFS purposes. 7 carries for 26 yards.
Not good.
Yeah, been a disappointment. I mean, across the board offensively, not much here. I can't take the Texans. I think Jacksonville's the better team. I think they figure out a way in the second half.
What do you think, Scott?
We can still see a late, Robinson touchdown or two. It's
done. It's over.
It's still a lot of. It's still a lot of football to play.
There
is. I think, but I agree with Adam. The Texans are just not good. We thought Damien Pierce has been good though. I'm always in on his props. It's been interesting. Like, it's been a long time since they've had a good running back. The last one was Arian Foster, and they've been trying to fill that hole for years. Lamar Miller, Steve Slayton, guys like that. Now you got Damien Pierce in fantasy. I think he's an every week start. I'm looking at his props every week. He had a nice catch and run today, so maybe they'll get him involved in the passing game too.
All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 13, Atlanta Falcons nothing, 34.5 on the total. You're laying 16.5 with Tampa. You can get the Falcons at 12 to 1, Ronus. I was curious coming into this game. I was saying to myself that these teams are not the same teams they've been the past couple years. With that being said, Atlanta has not been able to score, and I know exactly why, because Cordero Patterson's not in the game.
Well, that's part of it. They're just getting dominated. 297 yards for Tampa, 89 for Atlanta. And it's just a matter of time before Tampa Bay puts – 256 passing yards for Brady. I think his prop was in the 270s. I mean, I know Scott mentioned it. A lot of people mentioned it. It was easy. Brady was going to bounce back in this game. At home, coming off 2 losses, this Atlanta defense. So they should be putting up more points. They're spreading the ball around. Godwin, 58. Fournette, 55 receiving on 5 catches. 40 yards for the tight end, Otten. Evans, 32. And the leading rusher for Atlanta is Mariota with 24. He's 5 of 14. He has taken a huge step back. It looked good the first 2 weeks. It has fallen apart here. And Drake London has 3 targets, no receptions. I no way you put money on Atlanta. They're going to get done. Brady's probably throwing, tablets on the ground right now in the locker room, and they're going to come out and put up points in the second half.
Anything you want to add to that, Scott? This Falcons-Buccaneers matchup?
That's really it. I mean, if you played Tyler Algier, it was pretty much out of desperation. Maybe Drake London can pad his fantasy numbers playing catch up, but we have to be careful with that kind of thing. Sometimes we say, oh, this team will fall behind and, they'll pad their numbers playing catch up. Sometimes when teams fall behind, they don't come back. They just get blown out.
Yeah, what I'm saying, they pad the numbers for your opponents with interceptions and stuff like that. 16-0 New England Patriots all over the Detroit Lions. Got live number Patriots laying 16.5. You can't lay that with the Patriots because they're not that good either. 36.5 is the live total. Just really, I guess we just continue to look for stats from from Stevenson, and I guess really that's it.
But it's 16.5. Like you said, I still don't expect them to cover that. Jared Goff, to Adam's earlier point, we all know he doesn't play as good on the road, but one touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and they could slice this lead in half. And I don't expect the Patriots to be rolling up, much more offense.
I mean, there's the way to sum up this game: Belichick versus Campbell, right?
Yeah, Bill Belichick versus Dan Campbell. Yeah, it does seem pretty lopsided right there. When you look,
who's going to have the more exciting press conference?
Yeah, well, they
I haven't seen MRI. Yeah,
you ever see that?
I didn't see the MRI.
On Family Guy. Bill Belichick playing with his son. He throws him up in the air. He's like, "We."
So, by the way, I'm on Ross St. Brown, just 1 catch for 5 yards on 1 target.
Tough comeback.
They've only completed 4 passes.
Wow,
so.
Cole Kmet has 2 catches today.
I know that is a season high.
That.
Is that a career high?
I think it's a season
Nobody
high.
expecting that. Well, you talk about he fooled fantasy analysts a long time ago.
He got
Cole
me,
Kmet.
bro. I was high on Cole Kmet. He got me.
Cole Kmet.
I was wrong on that. At least
major disappointment. Cole Kmet. Cleveland Browns 21, Chargers 17. Live line Adam shows Cleveland laying 2.5. You want to come back with the Chargers is plus $1.22. This is interesting to me to get in on Los Angeles right here. I have not done it. Maybe in the next commercial break I will do it. But I think the Chargers are live. Is there anything I'm missing? Because I don't have the stats in front of me, Ronis.
No, it's been a back and forth game. Both teams moving the ball offensively. The yardage is close. It's 280 for Cleveland, 268 for the Chargers. So, I mean, like, again, we expected it. I expected a high scoring game. That's what we're getting. So this could be a case of maybe who has the ball last. They have the better quarterback, obviously. So, yeah. And by the way, Damien Harris has been ruled out.
Damien Harris out for the game. So if you got Stevenson in, you might be feeling pretty good about that. New England driving the football downfield now. Scott, you like anything with this Browns and Chargers matchup?
Sorry, I just saw Evan Ingram catch a pass. I thought it was a illusion.
So that's not.
But,
we all wait. Pinch yourself. We all wait.
He's been okay this year, man, for the tight end position.
He has. Yeah,
you know, I actually had to pick him up in 2 leagues and start him in one. It doesn't feel good.
He's been good enough to lose with. In fantasy.
Well, again, look at the tight end position. He is 3 for 56. That's like a victory.
Is that a season high? He hasn't been that good.
Nah, he's been. You seen the tight end landscape?
Now I'm going to take credit though. What did I say before? I said I want to see Velus Jones Jr. get involved for the Bears. They're desperate.
And he scored.
He just scored.
Yeah.
So
all right, so there you go.
But going back to your Chargers game though, it's like if it comes down to quarterbacks, obviously you like Herbert over Brissett. But knowing the Browns, you know, they're going to hand the ball off like late because they got 2 really good running backs. But I I'm live with the Chargers because you know Herbert's going to be clutch.
Yeah, I
think remember the Browns have had some the game against the Jets they blew and they lost to Atlanta too. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Definitely a Chargers live look could be the play on this one and give us a nice little sweat that we all can get into together as we go down the stretch. New York Jets got a 19-14 lead over the Dolphins. Dolphins trying to get back into this one. Dolphins 4.5-point underdogs. Quarterback knocked out the game. I believe somebody named Skyler is quarterback.
Skyler Thompson. Yeah. How bad is this Jets defense to allow that offense to drive down the field? But Raheem Mostert has 2 touchdowns. I was expecting more. And maybe we'll still get it. I was expecting more out of Zach Wilson with this defense. What's the over right now?
The total right now is 54.5.
I don't think they get there. Maybe another 3 touchdowns, but I don't think they quite get there.
Ron, is anything with Dolphins Jets?
Nah, I mean it's tough with Thompson at quarterback. It's pretty much been
New York football. Is New York football back? The Jets and the Giants both above 500.
They
in the month of
back?
October.
They moved back from Jersey.
Oh,
I mean,
boy,
look,
here we go.
It could be at this point. I mean, look, the thing is that the Jets, they do have some exciting playmakers. Breece Hall, they need to see if Wilson can be the guy. The Giants are not as exciting, but as we touched on before, very well coached. They have Saquon Barkley, and they're showing up to play every week. And you can't say that about a lot of NFL teams right now.
Yep, I would agree with you on that. Vikings, Bears. Just sort of Vikings getting the end zone. Something bad must have just happened. Just sort of Vikings getting the end zone. Live line, Vikings laying 7.5. I would never do that. Chicago coming back at plus 7.5. Chicago plus 420 could be interesting. The Vikings are not against. The Vikings are not against blowing a lead. Are you guys saying because Trevor Lawrence just threw that interception?
Yeah.
That's just
terrible.
It might be gutsy to go in on the Bears though, because they're throwing the ball a little bit. I saw Darnell Mooney
and Kirk Cousins can give games away too.
Yeah, and Darnell Mooney had a beautiful one-handed catch earlier and rivaled what we saw from Pickens a few weeks ago. So again, divisional games are always tough. So if you want to be gutsy, go in on the Bears.
Scott. Here's the thing.
I just asked you guys 20 minutes ago, and you were killing me. Now it's gutsy. Guy flip-flops, man.
You know how we are, Ronas. Listening.
You change your mind,
Ronas, you're a mediocre fantasy analyst. We go in one ear and out the other when you talk.
You're a mediocre man in life.
Oh, we're getting personal now.
Yeah, look at that. You see how my boy?
Yeah.
You just threw me under the bus.
You just talked about his analysis, and he had to take a personal shot at you. I won that debate.
My career. That's my career, my livelihood.
Debate.
That's how I make money. He's trying to starve me and the kids I don't have.
The kid that you are.
Scott, but honestly, I haven't had a chance to talk to you much. Right. Here's my thing with Lawrence is, like, he makes some plays, and you're like, man, there's it. This kid is really it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then in some plays, you're like, man, he's got a long way to go. Where are you at on Trevor Lawrence as a young and up and coming quarterback?
I think, at some point early in the career, like we saw it at Josh Allen, it either happens or it doesn't happen. And I think the way that Lawrence is trending, it will happen. I don't think the front office did him a lot of favors. Yeah, the playmaking crew is around him is improved, but that's only because it was so horrible last year. I mean, Christian Kirk has played well, but look at the other guys that get around him, like Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, Evan Ingram. They haven't surrounded him with a lot of playmakers. They're asking a lot of him. So I think Trent Baalke hasn't done a good job as a GM either. So they got to surround him with more talent, I think, to get the most out of him.
Ronis, did you wager on the Jaguars to win the division? If so, how would you feel if they lost this game right here?
I mean, obviously you wouldn't feel good. You can't lose to Houston. But again, this division, a lot of teams are flawed here. As good as the win was for the Colts, I mean, that was horrendous. That was not a winning football performance.
That was a moral loss. You have a moral victory. That was a moral loss.
And Tennessee obviously has actually played better than I thought. Because I don't see a lot on this team. It's amazing. I thought Treylon Burks could be something. Now he's on IR, missing a minimum of 4 weeks. They don't really have playmakers. I thought Derrick Henry, at least early in the year, didn't look the same. He's looked a lot better the last couple of weeks, and they're getting well in the pass game. But this division is wide open. So that's what I was looking for before the year. I said, hey, if things break right for Jacksonville and Urban Meyer really was the problem, this team could be one of those teams that goes from the bottom to the top. I really didn't see it in many other divisions. So, yeah, if they lose this game, it's bad. But, again, look at if Tennessee loses today, then they're still right there.
Yeah, it's still everybody's still kind of bunched up together. And then that AFC South division going to be something interesting to watch all season. Before we get into our 4 p.m. Eastern time starts, quick look at the loser board. Antonio Gibson, somebody who I was pretty high on today, 2 carries for 3 yards.
You were? Why?
Yeah, because I figured with that number coming the Commanders' way, I figured that offense would have to run through Gibson.
Yeah, but if you've seen, his snaps have gone down every single week, and Brian Robinson was back. Now, I know Robinson was going to play a big role. Robinson has 3 carries for 8. Gibson has 2 for 3. Neither targeted in the pass game because McKissick's the pass catcher back. They've kind of they soured on Gibson all offseason. He was dropping down boards. Then Robinson unfortunately got shot. We knew he wasn't going to start the season. Gibson started to go back up. But it's clear, man. I love Gibson, the talent, but it's clear. Washington was telling you a story. We're not high on this guy. And that's why they drafted Robinson. So they were telling you the story, and Gibson's snaps were going down each week. I think I had him ranked in the 37, 38 at running back this week.
You can see where Minnesota Vikings wide receivers look like they're starting to get frustrated with Kirk Cousins. Najee Harris, 9 carries for 17 yards. Tyler Algier Scott, big pickup. People played him this week. 4 carries for 17 yards, not paying off just yet. Really running into that teeth of that Buccaneer defense.
Yeah, I think, Tampa Bay has a very good run defense. With Najee Harris, though, it's like late first round, early second rounder. This is a tough matchup, though, against a very good Buffalo defense. And, I'm not surprised we haven't
Tampa
seen
Bay
anything
defense.
on it. No, I'm talking about Najee Harris.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah. No, it's
Another
okay.
mistake. Wake up, bro. We got 2 hours to go, man. Wake up. Come on. You need some coffee or something?
I'm trying to figure out why he's talking about the Buffalo.
I knew exactly what he was talking about.
I'm sorry.
No, but Scott, with Najee Harris, how worried should we be the rest of the year? I know it's a tough matchup today, but this offensive line, you have a quarterback in Pickett who's going to run a little bit and not check down like Ben did last year. I think you have to be worried about Najee Harris. What do you think?
I think you have to, but I think he's going to be good in the right matchup. It really depends on the matchup. Pickett's going to open up this offense eventually, and DK Metcalf just fumbled deep in Seattle territory, so that's
that's why you're sad. I knew it. I saw something.
Yeah. Turn that frown upside down, King. Just had that is going to be a touchdown for Big Mike Williams. That play is going to be under review, a close one right there. Mike Williams may have a touchdown already. The Bears just blocked the kick. The Bears just blocked the kick.
Because we were laughing at the Bears. We should have hit that plus 2,000.
You still send me that money, Ronas?
It may have to get in on the Bears. It might be time to get in on the Bears.
So I have a prediction. So Scott at the beginning of the show said Minnesota is going to win the division. If they lose, they're not good, man. They lost to the Bears.
Nah, I don't just coast with what's hot. So it's like I don't think the Giants are. I think they're good, but I don't not like they're going to make a deep playoff run.
Wide receivers, Zay Jones, 1 catch for 2 yards. Jalen Waddle, 1 catch for 7. Going to be a tough day for those Dolphin receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1 catch for 5 yards. Robert Woods, 2 catches for 21 yards for Woods. All right, so that's where we stand right now. Get you a leaderboard probably in about 10 or 15 minutes or so. Get you an updated leaderboard now that we are past halftime. But let's turn our attention to the 4 p.m. Eastern time starts. And let's start in Carolina, Ronas, where we could see the first head coach firing of the season in Matt Rule. Carolina, who is pitiful. I mean pitiful at home today. 6-point dogs to the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy G brings the Niners in there at 6.5-point favorites, depending on where you're looking at. Looks like a good spot for the 49ers. They don't look great offensively either, but this Panther team, man, Ron, it's talking about bad football. That's going on in Carolina.
Yeah, look, I can't back Carolina. There's been a couple weeks I've taken them this year, but I can't do it here. I know you're worried about the San Fran offense with Jimmy G. They can keep it tight, and the total's low with 40, so you're always worried about laying a number like that. 49ers number 1 in defensive DVOA. They've allowed 46 points. Baker Mayfield's been horrendous, man. I just don't see how the Panthers can put up anything offensively, so I got to go with San Fran.
Corey, what do you think about defensive DVOA?
Yeah, nothing.
It's too complex for me.
Now he's hating. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't study defensive
DVOA. That was a good hip hop group from the 90s. Yeah.
Scott, 49ers and Panthers. You know what I'm saying, Scott? This is what we got to watch in the 4 p.m. window.
Well, the Niners are playing excellent defense. There's a risk of offending Eagles fans. The best defense in the NFC right now. So, that definitely, this is I'm taking the Niners to cover. The money line, there's not a lot of juice there. So, because you know what's going to happen, but I wonder, what on DraftKings Sportsbook, what's the game prop for a shutout? So there might be some nice juice there.
It could be. You're right. That could be a case too. The San Francisco I think San Francisco's on the East Coast again next week. I think they're at Atlanta next week, so that's interesting. San Francisco.
They can build up a nice record there, with the
frequent flyer miles. Arizona Cardinals.
I don't think they fly coach.
Arizona Cardinals, Philadelphia Eagles, Philadelphia Ronans 5.5-point favorites in Arizona. Arizona, just like Carolina, another team that is terrible at home, but the Eagles coming in there 4-0, 2-0 on the road. Score 100 points in the second quarter of every game. Philadelphia Eagles, best team in the NFC. I think they go into Arizona and roll today.
I have a feeling this could be a game that Arizona keeps it close. As
really?
Good as Philly has been, that line just seems kind of weird to me. I know Arizona's been horrible. Like, it's hard to defend them. They're 2 wins, 1 against Vegas, 1 against Carolina. The Vegas was a big comeback. But I kind of have a feeling they're going to keep this close here. And with Philadelphia, they've been in control in the second half. They don't roll up any numbers. Like, they're as good as Jalen Hurts and some of these fantasy numbers have been. It could be way better. They've sat on the ball in the fourth quarter because they've been comfortably ahead. I think Arizona is going to stay competitive here.
Interesting, Scott. I like Philadelphia a lot in this spot. Probably my player of the week, one of my best bets. I'm sad to see that Adam think it's going to be close. I'm a little bit worried now, but with that
being said, do you believe
said,
Miles Sanders has 3 rushing touchdowns? This is the best offense that he's ever had around him in his 4 years as an Eagle, and it's opening up running lanes. It's giving him scoring opportunities. He's not a guy that can push the pile, but he's getting some scoring chances. In this Seattle-New Orleans game, Kobe Bryant with a tackle on Chris Olave where he basically threw his head to the ground, and Olave's coming off. It looks like he's probably going to go into concussion protocol, if I'm guessing correctly.
Yeah, they're holding his hands in. I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got his hands in there. You saw that?
Yeah, he's walking off, but if he's getting checked for a concussion, then
it's all about Traquan Smith. Here we go.
So Olave did score the touchdown. Looks like he's being going to get checked for a
touchdown's
concussion.
getting challenged.
Oh, and that touchdown's being challenged. I did see where Austin Eckler scored a touchdown. So Eckler gets on the board. Los Angeles now up 24-17 versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay. So I got your opinion on that one. Boy, football night in America, Adam Ronis. I look at it this way. This is a live betting spot for me. The Cowboys have allowed teams to run the football on them this year. And when the Rams have the Rams have destroyed the Cowboys the past couple of times they played. And it's mainly because the Rams have been able to successfully run the football against Dallas. For as good as Dallas defense has been, they've struggled against the run. In the first half, if the Rams are running the ball successfully, I can see the Cowboys quitting in the second half and hightailing it back to Dallas. But if the Cowboys can stop the run, I think they can win the game.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this game. It feels like a lot of people are on Dallas because we just saw the Rams in prime time, and we saw how bad they look, how their offensive line issues, how Stafford is just zoning in on Cooper Kupp, not looking for anyone else, and everyone's talking about the Dallas defense, their line, and how they get pressure. So a lot of it is a mismatch on paper, but yet that line moved up this week. It was 4.5, now it's 5.5. So I'm a little worried about this because, again, that's what people do. They judge, especially these primetime games. Oh, Rams look terrible. They're bad. How are they going to protect? And it's a new week.
That's why I bet the Colts. The Colts look so pitiful. I was like, oh, this is a good chance to come back and get them on the other side. So I agree with you. Dallas, people talking up Dallas, people talking down about the Rams, Scott, and you get that notion. But this is a game that the Rams can run away with, if you ask me. I've seen this team enough to know.
I don't think the Rams are capable of running away right now. They have too much to figure out on offense. They're predictable. The opponents are like, okay, we'll let Cooper Kupp roll up all these yards, but they don't have any other way to beat us. The offensive line has been looking very bad. There's no playmakers that's stepping up. Everybody who owns Allen Robinson in fantasy can tell you that. Tyler Higbee is their number 2 pass catcher. He's overrated and mediocre. There's no running game right now. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. There's no running game. And on defense, despite the fact that they have Ramsey, the pass defense hasn't been good either. I think the Rams are too flawed. This is a team that's having a Super Bowl hangover early in the season. I'm not saying they can't turn it around. Dallas is being coached well, I believe. And I think not that Sean McVay is not a good coach because he's proven himself, but I think Dallas knows how to coach winning football, and the Rams are flawed right now. So what's the money line on the Cowboys right now for this game?
Believe you can get the Cowboys at in the $2 range to be 100. You can get Dallas on the money line. It's not the $2. It's plus 198 right now for the Dallas Cowboys. If you want to hit them to win the game. How about them Cowboys? America's team right there, getting ready to rock and roll. So there you go. I like the Dallas Cowboys to hang in there today. Listen, I don't bet the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? I try my best not to because I don't want to you know what I'm saying? Have my feelings hurt and my pockets hurt. You know what I mean? So
it's good to do a player prop when you follow the team so closely because
that is
then
true
you
too.
Can take that secondary player that other people don't know about and kind of hit on it. I did that with a few times with the Seahawks last year.
Which ones? What did you hit?
I think it was it Penny Hart maybe? I hit on a prop with.
All right.
So the Olave touchdown counts. Now I hope he's okay. I hope he's okay in returns because I got over 62.5 yards. He's sitting at 54.
So it's all about you, huh, Ronis?
Yes, it is.
It's all about you.
He's honest.
All right,
we talk about all of your props too. I've given you credit. The Kenny Pickett call, Scott had Taysom Hill. It's about all of us.
I want everybody props to hit. I want everybody to be successful. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
But you're saying Adam only wants him to be successful?
I think Adam worries about his props more than he worries
Well,
about
it's my
anything
money.
else.
I kind of worry about my money more than yours. Is that okay? Is that acceptable to worry about my money more
fine.
than yours?
That's not unusual. That's not like a steak sandwich at the Waffle House.
Yeah,
you
that's
do make
ridiculous.
a strong point. All right, looking at these, some of these inactives coming up, really outside of Dak Prescott, everybody that you expect to be on the field today will be on the field. So we got those covered for you. All right, let's head out.
Allen Robinson is officially active, but
on the bench.
He might be inactive again.
I mean, is he going to have a good game one of these weeks?
If he does, it's going to be on the waiver wire, Adam, because I'm
the
done.
bench, yeah.
What the bench?
Exactly.
Like he's that type of guy who can, like in goal line situations, Stafford does look for him.
Yeah.
So if you have to start him, you can get 2 for 40 and a touchdown.
All right, so let's head out and take another break. When we come back, we'll update, get the latest updates on the leaderboard, let you know what's going on with that. And then I got something that me and Scott have to talk about. It's a documentary getting ready to come out, and I want to ask Scott if he's heard about it or knows about it. I'm sure.
The Life of Adam Ronis?
No. Nobody wants to see that.
Live from Africa.
It covers 14 years.
It's the Better Zone, Better Sports Network. Go to break before we get in trouble.
Yeah, baby.
Better Zone.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
We got to get a team in Honolulu. Like, what about that, Ray? You think Oakland? Like, nobody's talking about Honolulu for the Oakland A's to move to. How badass would that be to have a Major League Baseball team? Instead, they want to go to like where it's 120 degrees in the desert of Vegas.
Right.
Ray, they should pick up and go to Honolulu. That would be epic right there for the A's.
They could go to Honolulu, and instead of playing 12 games against a team throughout the course of the year, you just play a 12-game set. Just get it done.
What's the flight from the Bay Area? 4 hours?
It's depending which direction you're going, it's 5.5.
Okay, that's not terrible. You'd have to manage the schedule a bit.
Right.
But it's doable. Like, you play your West Coast games and then maybe you give an extra day. Like you play in San Francisco through Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then you have your Monday off. Everybody gets their Monday off and then they play, out in Hawaii for 4 games. Then they come back for the weekend.
It's very similar time-wise for us in California, in the Bay Area, to go to Hawaii as it is to go to New York. It's very similar. So, yeah, like you're saying, Giants do that to go to the Mets. The A's do that to go to the Yankees. They do it, so it would be very similar.
They would be they've already got the baseball background. I mean, they're dominant. The island loves their baseball. And Ray, you could even rebrand the team from the Oakland A's to the Oakland Lays. You can do the Lays, Ray. Look at that.
Good. That's actually, there's no way that would ever happen, but that's pretty good, Kyle. On the fly.
I'm giving away like free marketing right here.
Good work.
Right on the show.
The plan is for them to stay here, but the fans hate them. I don't know if the city likes them. They can't. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know. The plan
There's a lot of land in Hawaii. Just think about the views, Ray, of the Pacific. It would put your crap ballpark in San Francisco to shame. Like, everybody thinks that's a good view.
Right.
They'd have like waterfalls and real palm trees and the Pacific Ocean.
People trolling fire in the 7th inning stretch.
They would make the Giants Park look like, the Vet in Philly. It would look that awful if they moved to Hawaii.
And you go to your flip-flops or shorts. They serve Mai Tais. They give Lays away, or the first 5,000 fans, whatever.
Well, everybody in the chat room loves it. Every time I get a compliment, I don't bring it up on the show.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't want to be that guy.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
Trips to the left, Hawkinson to the right. John leans forward and back to his right, extending the hands. He takes the snap. He is going to look to play it out. He's chased by Judah, going to the left. Got fumbles. It's scooped up. Duggar has it. Foot race to the 35-30. Duggar's in the clear to the 10. End zone bound. High stepping, leaping, coming down with a touchdown. New England.
Hang out in the Better Zone will you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network.
All right, back up in Adam Better Zone, Week 5. Corey, Scott, and Adam right here on the Better Zone, hanging out, having a good time, enjoying these football games going on right now. About to get into a leaderboard to get you updated on what's going on from a fantasy perspective for today's games. Right quick, while we were away, Jacoby Myers. How about that, Scott? Jacoby Myers with a touchdown reception.
I was on the Front Yard Fantasy show before us, and I was saying this guy's the Beavis of like fantasy players. He never scores, but like, and I was saying, no way, don't use Jacoby Myers with Bailey Zappi like playing quarterback, and here he gets in the end zone. So not everything's fully predictable in fantasy football, obviously.
Los Angeles Chargers just get on the board as well. Field goal for the Chargers. They have a 27-21 lead right now over the Cleveland Browns. That game, about 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. All right, let's hop into the leaderboard right now. QB1 with 34 fantasy points, 376 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Have a day, would you? Josh Allen, QB1 on the day. QB2 on the day right now is Tom Brady, 19 fantasy points, 325 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, also with a 2-point conversion. QB3 right now, Aaron Rodgers, 2 passing touchdowns, 222 passing yards. Scott, is Aaron Rodgers a starter in a 12-team fantasy league on a week-to-week basis?
He's a streamer. You can't feel comfortable starting him. I mean, honestly, can we say any week that Aaron Rodgers is going to put up any better numbers than, say, Geno Smith? You know, we can't say that anymore. So, but I think a lot of expert people like knew this coming into the year too, that with the lack of weaponry that he had, that this could be a possibility. Even the best quarterbacks, we've seen Brady in past years with the Patriots, his numbers not be what we wanted in fantasy because he didn't have the correct playmakers. Patrick Mahomes is different. Sometimes quarterbacks can overcome those surroundings, and Patrick Mahomes still can throw for 5 touchdowns and a lot of yards, even without Tyreek Hill. Some quarterbacks, you trim down their receivers too much, and it really affects them.
That Duggar touchdown return audio was courtesy of the New England Patriots radio network. I didn't update that score. It is 26-0 there right now in New England as they're putting it on the visiting Detroit Lions. Geno Smith, 181 and 2 touchdowns. Justin Fields, 9 completions for 15 yards. He's getting better. 145 passing yards, a passing touchdown, and a 35 rushing yards for Fields. It looks like
35 rushing yards or passing yards?
35 rushing yards for Fields. He has 145 passing yards, amazingly, Scott.
On the season?
On today, on 9 completions.
21-19
in that game. Kirk Cousins, QB7 right now, Ronas, 223 and a passing touchdown, and he's chomping at the bit to give this game to the Bears. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, they've had success moving the football. Jefferson is having a huge day, 11 for 144. But yeah, nice. The Bears are kind of hanging in this right here. And, we've seen Cousins make some poor throws this year. So it is something to keep an eye on. We were talking earlier about the Bears' potential money line, but we didn't feel good about it. But it's a 2-point game.
Yeah, then you go right there. Chicago Bears right back into it. Justin Herbert, QB8, 185 and a touch for Herbert. Daniel Jones, efficient day, 21 of 27 for Daniel Jones, 217 in the passing touchdown. Just so where Washington, the Commanders, went back on top at home versus the Tennessee Titans. De'Ami Brown with his second touchdown.
What is this?
Oh, boy. With his second touchdown on the day.
He is going to be the hottest fantasy.
Scott, I got bad news for you, bro.
Uh-oh.
What?
Who's out?
Rashad Penny being carted to the locker room.
Oh, jeez. And I played him in Jock Market today, too.
His left
That's the thing with Rashad Penny, bro. He is fantasy. I mean, he is flag football. You know what I'm saying?
I thought Adam was flag football.
No.
I'll play. Let's go. Did it in Ohio.
Yeah, that was cool.
Zach Wilson right now.
Corey didn't show up, of course. He's got scared, bailed out. I can't go.
I had a lot of things going on at that time, Ronan.
Corey gets winded going to the pizza counter.
He does.
I'll be there. I'll be there next year. Yeah, I see right now where they're escorting Penny off the field. Zach Wilson, QB 11, 148 in the touch. That game's still in action. And QB 12 amazingly is Russell Wilson, 247 and 2 interceptions.
He'll be 30 by the end of the day.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi quickly closing on him right now. So there you go, right there.
With the Penny injury, it's not looking good the way he came off the field, and
no, it doesn't.
It looked like he couldn't even put his leg on the ground, and this is unfortunately why people didn't want to draft Penny, but now Kenneth Walker's going to be the guy, and once he's healthy. Once Kenneth Walker gets into a rhythm in that offense, he has tremendous upside.
Kenneth Walker, definitely somebody, if he's on your waiver wire, depending on how this injury looks, is somebody that you're going to want to look into, so we can get an early start on that. That's going to be a big talk tomorrow. That's going to be Kenneth Walker. Right now on the day, running back one is somebody that fantasy owners have been asking them to get us going right now, already with a 30 burger on the day. He has a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and 144 rushing yards on the day. Let's give a big shout out and hear one of those touchdowns right now from Austin Eckler. He is getting it done for his fantasy owners.
Yeah,
here comes
Preston. Touchdowns ago.
The screen. He's got a block to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers. What a connection. With a man in his face, Herbert lets it fly. Eckler hauls it in and eludes two Brown defenders to pay dirt.
All right. Leonard Fournette and Austin Eckler just flipped. Leonard Fournette is now RB1 on the day. He has a rushing touchdown and receiving touchdown. Only 28 rushing yards, but 84 receiving yards. RB3 is Dalvin Cook, 75 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb is RB4, 108 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Chubb just bust off another big run as well. Chubb is having a day out there. Saquon Barkley, RB5, 70 rushing touchdowns. 70 rushing yards.
Whoa.
That'd have been a hell of a day, Scott. 70th touchdown.
Sell high.
Yeah, sell high. 70 rushing yards and a touch for Barkley. RB6, Adam Ronis. Derrick Henry, 83 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. Also 2 catches for 30 yards. Henry getting it done. It looks like the Titans are in the red zone right now. Interesting game going on in D.C. Would you look at Henry as a bust so far, Ronis?
No, when you consider the state of some of the other running backs. I know the first couple weeks weren't good, but man, he's getting targets the last 2 games, and then today. No, he scored the last 3 weeks, 8 catches for 91 the last 2 weeks. So no, when you look at the landscape of running backs, I'd say no. And then today he's got another touchdown, 83 yards, and in the past game 2 for 30. So no, and I was not very high on him, but he's been really good the last few weeks. By the way, Chris Olave has been ruled out with a concussion. As we know, anytime someone gets a concussion, I don't think you'll see them back. So I lose my prop.
Also, I'm sorry to hear that. I had Olave in some lineups today as well. So, but that's decent because he was able to get that touchdown. One thing, Ron, is that over his cash. We didn't mention that with that last touchdown in Cleveland. That over is cash right now. Over 47 on the game is cash. Still plenty of time in the third quarter.
Corey, another prophetic call. Kirk Cousins picked off.
That's not really a prophecy.
Yeah, but we were joking about the Bears plus 2,000 money line. We should have at least put a little coin on it.
I know. Damn, for real. Chicago Bears. Let me tell you something. Chicago Bears are alive. And was that Nick Chubb again, or is that Kareem Hunt? One of them just got in the end zone just now. That game right there is going to come down to the wire. That's going to be a
like we said, last possession, whoever has the ball last. Man.
Yep, 100%. And yeah, so things are starting to pick up right now. About 18 minutes past the 3 p.m. hour right here on the East Coast. Anyway, Raheem Mostert, RB7 right now, 108 rushing yards for Mostert and a touchdown. Breece Hall, RB8, 76 rushing yards, 79 receiving yards. That receiving yards on that one play. Josh Kelly, Scott. Ronis mentioned it earlier. He's getting that work. 26 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, 33 receiving yards. Josh Kelly, somebody you could be interested in moving forward.
Yeah, that was somebody I mentioned, but it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Another mistake.
Excuse me.
Can we get the mistake leaderboard?
Like I said, I'm not perfect. The mistake leaderboard.
Yeah, maybe Josh Kelly becomes like the insurance fantasy policy to Austin Eckler, and he'll continue to give him breathers, but he really shouldn't be on your fantasy radar at all unless you play one of those deep FFPC best balls where you can pick up some guys on a
they
Tuesday
do have
or
best
Wednesday.
ball like that where you can make pickups.
Yeah,
well, he probably would have been
FFPC like that. Yeah.
By the way, Pat Fryermuth headed to the locker room, took a helmet-to-helmet hit.
All right, so there you go right there. He's likely done for the day. 2 touchdowns on the board. Kareem Hunt just got in the end zone, and the big man, King Henry, Derrick Henry, gets in the end zone as well. RB12 on the day. Melvin Gordon, 54 rushing yards, 49 receiving yards in that pitiful game the other night. And now we look at the wide receiver position, and coming in as WR1 right now is Gabriel Davis, 32 fantasy points for Gabe Davis, 171, only 3 receptions, but he has 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson have a day, why don't you? Jeff once again going off 11 for 144, also has 23 yards rushing. Nobody would have thought you'd have heard this is back-to-back. Diami Brown running wide receiver number 3, 105. You cannot be serious. 2 receiving touchdowns. Wide receiver 4, Jacoby Myers, 88 receiving yards, 6 catches, and a receiving touchdown. Wide receiver 5, we get a little bit back to normal, a guy that we're used to, a name that is known for being up here. Buffalo Bills, number 1 wide receiver, 7 catches for 61 yards in this touchdown.
From the 15 to the end zone. Oh, that's a touchdown to Diggs.
Wow. Just too good. They're just so explosive. I mean, you can't just punt 7 times in your first 4 games and then come out here and look like this in the win, where things should be difficult. Mike Tomlin knew what kind of challenge was in front of him.
There you go right there. Stephon Diggs gets into the end zone. Big day for Diggs. Right quick, we have a big-time play just took place. Or was it taken off the board? I don't see it. Was it taken off the board?
You're talking about Fields' run?
Yeah, the Fields run.
Penalty on that play. Pushed it back. Pulled it back.
CBS Sports Radio, CBS Sports on that call. That was Tony Romo on the call on that Stephon Diggs touchdown. Justin Fields had a 52-yard run on us?
Something like that, yeah. Call back on a penalty.
Call back on a penalty, but that's going to be an interesting finish right there between those 2 division rivals. Amari Cooper, wide receiver 6 on the day, 66 receiving yards. Big Mike Williams getting it done, 7 catches for 108, 17 fantasy points. Randall Cobb, 99 receiving yards on 7 receptions. Khalil Shakur, 3 catches, 75 yards. Alec Pierce is wide receiver 10. Chris Olave, who was out the game, 15 fantasy points, did get you a touchdown, 4 catches for 54 yards. And finally, Scott, Tyler Lockett, 3 catches, 54 yards, and a receiving touchdown for Tyler Lockett. You've been keeping an eye on that game, Scott. What's going on?
Yeah, by the way, Ronas, isn't it Khalil Shakir?
Did I mess it up, Scott? Is that the mistake leader?
I'm just trying to help you out.
Leaderboard. Corey is crushing that board today.
This is how your friends treat you. You know what I'm saying?
I was just trying to help you.
I was going to let this one go.
I was trying to help him.
I'm like, he's been making so many mistakes. I don't
You're
want
the
to
one that came up to the mistake leaderboard.
I was trying to let it go.
This is how your friends treat you right here. But it's all
Corporate
good.
Corey.
Yeah, corporate Corey. Every now and then make a mistake.
Now we want to be friendly.
Every now and then, I consider you gentlemen to be my friends.
Do you?
He's turning it into Nando Parsons.
Scott, he called us gentlemen. What is going on with corporate Corey?
He's been hanging around with Nando for a long time now.
I'm trying to take him under my wing, and we don't like these jokes. I don't like these jokes. You got to be nice to people.
You guys are too juvenile.
Yeah, I don't like little kids. I have enough little kids at home.
We got some action between the Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. Oh, it's going down. He got a little bit of fisticuffs. That's what they say, Scott, fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs. I think Lenny Melnick used to say that. Let me tell you something. Next time you tell me that Babe Ruth isn't real, I'm gonna be some fisticuffs between you and me, Parson.
Chicago Bears, field goal good. Chicago Bears now with a 22-21 lead over the Minnesota Vikings. That plus 2,200 is gone. Tight end one on the day is not really a tight end. He plays a little quarterback in for the New Orleans Saints. But so far on the day, he has 51 rushing yards. He did also fumble the ball, but here's one of his 2 rushing touchdowns for Taysom Hill.
Here comes Callaway in motion across the formation, and now he comes back on the other side. Taysom Hill keeps it left, 10, 5, and to Taysom, touchdown, left side. That is a New Orleans Saints touchdown, 9 yards.
Tight end 2, Evan Ingram, 5 catches for 64 yards. David Njoku, tight end 3, 4 catches, 69 yards. Scott, tight end number 4 on the day is Daniel Bellinger. Who is that?
Daniel Bellinger's a 4th-round pick for the Giants.
Who the hell is Daniel Bellinger?
Mark Bavaro. Kevin Boss, Bavaro. Is he one of those guys?
Zeke Moat. No, actually, he was a highly touted 4th-round pick that they like a lot, and I drafted in a few dynasty leagues. With the Giants lacking playmakers right now, but Bellinger, he was actually their leading receiver last week with like 3 catches for like under 40 yards or something like that. But he's had 2 touchdowns. If you play in a tight end premium format, especially like the FFPC, if he's available, he's somebody to be on the radar because who knows when Kadarius Toney is coming back. Kadarius Toney's the new Percy Harvin. He's somebody who's spectacular when he plays, once every 2 years, something like that. The Giants
still waiting. The Giants, Tony, it's like Josh Gordon.
Well, Josh Gordon, it wasn't much injuries, it was other things. Unfortunately, Percy Harvin was always getting hurt. Tony reminds me of him. Harvin would be on the field. He'd be spectacular, but he wasn't available enough. Kadarius Toney reminds me of that. Bellinger's stepping forward, but you got to keep him on your radar because tight end's such a thin fantasy position.
Ronis, this is
Andy Dalton was just intercepted. Seahawks rookie Tariq Woolen was a 5th-round pick, is having a great year. He just intercepted Andy Dalton.
Thank you, Scott. Scott's going to keep us up with the Seahawks game. I'll do the rest.
Hey, I gave you a Skylar Thompson update before.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate
on
that.
The board. Your Falcons are on the board. Avery Williams, his only carry
Williams.
of the day.
21-14, 21-7 now, 14-point lead in that one for the Buccaneers. Ronas, Cade Otton, Hunter Henry, Eric Saubert, Cole Kmet, Durham Smythe, Noah Fant, Mercedes Lewis, and Bobby Tunyon are tight ends 5 through 12. Ronas, the tight ends are horrific this year.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, man. If you don't have Kelsey, Mark Andrews, Zach Ertz, Hawkinson had one big week and not doing much today. It's rough. Like, you're really just trying to play the matchups. I mean, Higbee has been good so far. It's rough. Freiermuth, we mentioned, he's out with a concussion. It's tough, man. Like, you're really searching for answers. I did like Cole Kmet going into the year. I think I cut him in most leagues by now. I might have him in a couple just because not much. I've picked up Evan Ingram, Tanya. It's rough out there, man. Like, every week you just don't feel good about a lot of these guys.
Durham Smythe is actually the Dolphins' best tight end in terms of catching passes.
Njoku, I actually feel pretty good about. I did drop him in the league, though, after week 2, and then he had the big week, but I do have him in one. They just don't have a lot at wide receiver, so it's kind of Cooper and him. And, he's been pretty consistent outside of that week 1, but, there will be a week where he doesn't come through. But it's a very rough position this year.
Scott, I saw where, I believe it's a 30 for 30, ESPN is a documentary getting ready to come out sometime in the next couple of weeks. Maybe it might be out now. I got to check and see on Linsanity. And
that's documentary on HBO Max. Actually,
okay, it's on HBO.
It's dropping Tuesday.
Now, Scott, the documentary is really centered around that game versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And me and you remember that game well, Scott. We was at that game. Yeah. And remember I told you that night, this is like the best sporting event I ever been to. Like, that was an unbelievable experience that night. Scott, I hung on to the press pass, but I can't find it now. I know it's in here somewhere, but when I saw they was doing a documentary on that game, I automatically thought that's the night me and Scott met Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, it's we actually had credentials thanks to Matt Deutsch. If he can't find a credential, Rodas, where do you think it might be?
Scott's trying to get me fired.
Now you see, you're supposed to act better than that, Scott. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking a question. You're like
Corporate Corey don't fool with stuff like that.
No, I think it's under the socks over here. Maybe the underwear. But yeah, we were at that game. You know, it was a tremendous atmosphere. You know, the Garden was actually absolutely rocking that night, and you know, thought Linsanity was gonna last forever, and it didn't happen. You know, there was a lot of rumors about Carmelo Anthony not liking it, and other teammates not liking it. So I'll be very interested to watch this, because I don't think the Knicks have had a good moment. Well, actually, they did the playoffs.
Yeah, they had one good year since then.
But that's the most exciting sporting event you've ever been to.
Like, I was gonna say, you don't get it to sports events much, huh?
No, I thought going with Gabe Morency to a Jet game was the highlight.
But Kobe Bryant didn't play in that game, Scott. What do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not making documentaries about Gabe being drunk on New Jersey Transit.
A lot of excitement from what you told me, though.
It was a lot of excitement, but it wasn't a legendary type moment. You know what I'm saying? To see the Jets and the Bills play on Thursday Night Football. You know what I'm saying? That's not, you know, you can see that. That's every year they do that.
Yeah, that's true.
New Orleans Saints right now, 24-19 over the Seahawks. Seahawks catching 5.5 points. This is via FanDuel. DraftKings started messing up. Jacksonville and Houston. Is this game still tied at 6?
Yeah, man. And again, we talked about at the beginning, man. Can't trust Jacksonville laying 7, man. I don't care who they're playing. Like, we have not seen them in that position yet. I think they're the better team, but really struggling here to get anything going.
They're playing good defense, but I just don't like their playmaking crew. You know, I like ETN. I like the running backs, but I don't think they've given them enough in the passing game.
They're still a young team and still got time to get it together. But this was a spot that I couldn't see getting on Jacksonville in this spot right here. Especially,
you know, a lot of people took them. A lot of people took them in Survivor. So
that's crazy. They were number one team in Survivor.
I do an article on Survivor every week on fantasyalarm.com, and I give out 3 picks. They were Buffalo, Tampa, and San Fran. We could not go with Jacksonville. Just too risky for me. And the Packers, I think people had. They were an 8-point favorite, and I didn't think that was crazy, but I didn't put it in the top 3. But yeah, I mean, I get why people took Jacksonville. Do you really want to trust them in a divisional game? I know it's Houston, and Scott talked about it too. We talked about it's tough to trust them in this spot. Now, I know this is the problem is people look ahead. Well, I can't use Jacksonville. Don't worry about that in Survivor anymore. You've seen how treacherous and how many potholes we've hit this year. Just worry about this week.
The problem is, Ronas, in some Survivor leagues, they do Thanksgiving as a separate day. So you kind of got to save the Buffalo. You got to save the Buffalo Bills.
So then go Tampa.
Yeah, I would have went Tampa. But then, you know, Tampa plays on Christmas, right? But Christmas is not considered a lone week, right?
No, because there's 3 games on Christmas, and the bulk of it is on the 24th, which is a Saturday.
Okay, got it. So, just wanted to make sure with that.
And that's a long ways away, man. The way Survivor's gone this year, I mean,
yeah, for real.
I think you just worry about that when you get there.
Remember last year in Survivor, everybody was saving Dallas for Thanksgiving, and they got destroyed by the Raiders. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's nothing to see there. 26-0 between the Patriots and the Lions. Buccaneers up 21-14 over the Falcons. I can see the Falcons sneaking in for a backdoor cover on this one. That number was 10. Right now it's 13.5 live. It was on that 14 for a minute. They gobbled that one up quickly. Interesting.
And Atlanta has the ball at midfield.
Yeah. So there you go right there. Falcons are looking to drive, see if they can make this game a little bit closer. New England is blowing Detroit out. Got a close one into the fourth quarter now between Cleveland and Los Angeles. We mentioned this game will probably come down to the last possession. Right now, the Browns have the football up 28-27. Dolphins and Jets. Jets up 19-17. You want to get in on Miami? They're plus 215 on the money line right now. Miami Dolphins 21-22, and we are underneath 4 minutes to go in Minnesota. Right, so that's where that situation is right now. You can buy the FanDuel still has a plus 290 on the Bears if you want to get into that. And then that situation, that game between the Commanders and the Titans 21, Commanders 17, just getting into the fourth quarter in that game right there. All right, let's head out, take another break. When we come back, we should be getting towards the good times of this contest between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. It's the Bettor Zone right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Bettor Zone on Bettor Sports Network.
Corey, Nando, and Friends, presented by Mayo Media on Bettor Sports Network.
I'm convinced that Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Babe Ruth is not real. No, it's not. Babe Ruth is not real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. We've been led astray. We've been run amok. Babe Ruth, I don't know the rest. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. I'm dead serious. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Y'all are never going to get me to believe that Babe Ruth is real. Babe Ruth is like a baseball Santa Claus. I'm not buying it. After I saw those highlights last night of Babe Ruth, I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that Babe Ruth is a real person. Who do you know? There is nobody under the sound of my voice that has ever seen Babe Ruth play. I asked my pop, you ever seen Babe Ruth play? He's like, no. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth play.
I mean, come on.
I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Even Babe Ruth baseball cards, it looked like it's drawn. Like, Babe Ruth is not real. Y'all trying to pull a fast one. Listen, I don't know who made this up. Maybe it was Phil Rizzuto. Maybe it's the Lenny Melnick. But Babe Ruth is not a real person. There's no way. Everything about Babe Ruth is sketchy. If you didn't go to the games, how do you know that it really happened? Or I listened on the radio. You listen to Ovaltine on the radio. That old school radio was all fiction. Everything on old school radio was fake. But you think Babe Ruth is real.
Look, he lived until 1948. So if you find someone who's like 85 years old, they might have remembered him when he was little, when they were a little teenager.
Babe Ruth was made up by baseball purists. I am certain.
You do that thing where you pause the Babe Ruth video and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in. You see like some artist autograph like right here.
Yeah, you
like digital art right here. Yeah.
Somebody needs to investigate this and see if Babe Ruth is a real person. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth is a fictional character created to make people think that like there was this great jolly old baseball player that drank beers and ate hot dogs and hit 60 home runs. Like the home run record before Babe Ruth was like 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and
but
now
he figured it out. Like who figured out the dunk, right? Like he's just like,
that's like Dr. J or something, right? Then Dr. J, probably was before Dr. J, but Dr. J made the dunk famous. Babe Ruth made the home run famous, or maybe that was a way to get people to like, we're gonna make baseball America's pastime. But in order to do so, we need somebody who we can make the face of the sport. And they didn't have no face of the sport. So they're like, okay, let's make him a fictional guy that played for the Red Sox and was traded to the Yankees for like tickets to tickets to cats. You know what I'm saying? Like the Red Sox get a Yankees.
You tried to say
is there any footage of Babe Ruth in the Red Sox uniform? None. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character.
Goal for Tampa Bay. Leonard Fournette. He's in. Touchdown Bucks.
First down and goal from inside the 1 yard line. Rudolph in motion to the right. The snap. Play action fake and the pass by Brady to Fournette. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Easy pickings for Tom Brady. And Leonard Fournette. Fire the cannon.
Bettor Zone.
Pair touchdown for Leonard Fournette as Tampa Bay Buccaneers currently holding on to a 21-7 lead over the Atlanta Falcons. about 10 minutes to go into the fourth quarter of that game right there. Also, while we were gone, also big play. Alvin Kamara gets a big play, gets down into the red zone, and then we see Taysom Hill hit Adam Troutman for a touchdown. New Orleans Saints in control in that game right there. Extra point pending. Score now 31-19. Also, the Los Angeles Chargers retake the lead in the fourth quarter. Field goal gives the Chargers a 38-28 lead over the Cleveland Browns. Last I saw of the Minnesota Vikings, they were also in the red zone deep into the fourth quarter trying to put away the Chicago Bears. Scott, what do you think about the Seahawks and their chances to come back in this game right here versus the Saints? It looks like it might be some tough sledding.
It might be some tough sledding because the defense just not playing well at all. Like I said early on, they missed Jamal Adams. They missed Bobby Wagner. Not good tackling. And now you're putting Geno in a spot where he's got to play catch up. And that happened at San Francisco. He wasn't able to get it done. I'm not liking the chances right now. But it was interesting though. I write a late week waiver column on the GameDay.com. I was saying if you didn't have Kyle Pitts, the two tight ends I recommended to pick up were Taysom Hill and Adam Troutman because the Seahawks don't defend tight ends well, and it looked like Andy Dalton preferred Adam Troutman of all the New Orleans tight ends, and he just caught a touchdown.
Go ahead, Ronis.
Breece Hall, 2 times today, catches a ball, takes it down to the 1. Both times Michael Carter scores a 1 yard rushing touchdown.
Michael Carter gets a touchdown right there. He also did the Jalen Waddle in celebration as the Jets are versus the Dolphins today. Now, we just saw a play with Damien Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Ronis, was that ruled a fumble?
I don't know if they're reviewing it, but dude, he is.
I don't think so. Second and goal, and they just called timeout.
Yeah, they're running. He's running over Jacksonville, man. He's had some impressive runs today. My goodness, man. Breaking tackles. He looked really good today.
Just seen a big touchdown run from James Cook for the Buffalo Bills. The route is on 38-3 in the fourth quarter. Buffalo Bills all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. That whole Tomlin as an underdog thing, throw that out the window for this year.
Yeah,
because
good point.
This is a different Steeler.
Yeah, man, and people use these trends all the time in sports betting. These coaches. Yeah, man, like this, you just got to be careful with that. Teams change.
I don't say it doesn't count, but this Steeler team is different. You know what I'm saying, than any other Steeler team of the past. It looks like we get a Dalvin. I don't know if that's Cook or Madison. That could be Kirk Cousins. Okay, so Kirk Cousins gets in the end zone. Now Justin Fields is going to have to try to lead a drive to get a touchdown. And then I just saw where the Houston Texans have gone up on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Damien Pierce gets a touchdown. So that's where we stand right now with these games as we move into the fourth quarter. And obviously in a couple of minutes, we'll be figuring out who's going to be winning these games. Scott, not tonight, but tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, Kansas City Chiefs, Las Vegas Raiders. Scott, I don't bet favorites on Monday night. I'm 9 times out of 10. Like, Scott, well, nothing in sports betting is absolute, much like in fantasy. Nothing is absolute. You know what I'm saying? One of the true words spoken by Scott Engel, we call them kingisms. Nothing in fantasy is absolute.
The other one is, where are the knee pads?
Another Engelism, you know what I'm saying? Can I have your telephone number? I'm friends with David Wright. You know, the list goes on.
I don't ask for the phone number. I just give them the card. And, they can go where they want from there.
But with that being said, Scott, give me your thoughts on AFC West matchup tomorrow night between. That's a touchdown between the Chiefs and the Raiders. Chiefs 7.5-point favorites. Justin Jefferson just gets in the end zone for the Bears. Well, 2-point conversion.
That's a big deal with the spread, depending on what the line was, because now it's a 7-point game. I think it was 7, but it was 7.5 in some spots. So that's a big 2-point conversion.
Yeah, you could push at 7 if you got the Vikings at 7. So there you go, right there.
Correct, or Bears at 7, whichever one. But if you had it at 7.5,
you could be good. Now Justin Fields could leave a comeback. You know what I'm saying? And and they can go for 2 and the Bears could win the game, but that would be highly improbable if the Bears put up 30 points today.
All right, so Bears money line again. Are we doing this or
the fifth time today?
It's only where is that? Come on, plus 750.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we can't. We're really going to rely on Justin Fields, man.
I can't rely on Justin Fields to lead a game-winning drive and then go for 2 and convert. Jacoby Brissett out the pocket running.
Yeah, this is a wild game, man. Like we said, I think it's last possession.
Scott, do you have anything to say about the Raiders?
Yeah. I was waiting for you guys to get finished there. With the Raiders and the Chiefs, the Raiders are coming off their first win, and I love them to cover. Here it's a divisional game. These two franchises have hated each other for a long time. The Raiders continuing to get off the mat. Kansas City doesn't have a good pass defense. Las Vegas doesn't have a good pass defense. If anything, you go the over here. I think Derek Carr has had 2 touchdown passes each of his first 3 games. They get Hunter Renfrow back this week. So, that's something that I think can help them as well. So,
are they a playoff team in the AFC, Scott? The Raiders.
I don't think that they're looking like a 500 team.
Okay.
But we don't know about Juju Smith-Schuster, who's been a disappointment so far. But Patrick Mahomes is still going to get his. As I was saying earlier, Clyde Edwards-Helaire has really turned into a good goal line back for this team. Travis Kelce's going to have a big night. You could see Jerick McKinnon contribute as well. Wow. Josh Jacobs, who nobody wanted to draft in fantasy, has continued to produce well. I think he's, coming to the season, he had like 20 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. I don't think it's going to be, I guess I just said about the over high divisional games, not always high scoring, but I think this one is going to be.
Just saw a big play just now. Geno Smith hits Tyler Lockett to open up the fourth.
Let's go, Geno.
For a big touchdown pass. Lockett gets in the end zone. Looks like the Seahawks were preparing to go for 2. That would cut the lead to 31-27.
That's a big deal for the spread.
Yes, that is huge for the spread in this game. It just closed at 5.5 and 4.5, Ronis. Incomplete.
Well, I think it was 5.5. It depends what you got it at, though. But yeah, and that is a big deal. So I think a lot of people.
2-point conversion was no good. Still 31-25. Got Cleveland Browns right now in the red zone. Cleveland trying to take the lead in this game right here. This is about 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter in this one. Ronis, what do you think about Monday Night Football this week with the Raiders and the Chiefs? I've been on the Raiders. I'm gonna stick beside them. I'm not gonna quit them yet. I like them to be an AFC playoff team, but they got to start. That offense got to start clicking. I figured the offense would be better. It hasn't really lived the expectations so far this season. While the Chiefs still look like, next week I believe we get the big game between the Bills and the Chiefs. So, could this be a look ahead spot for for Kansas City?
It could be. It shouldn't be because there's a division rival, and as Scott alluded to, they hate each other. But I'm kind of with you as well. I kind of like the dog on Monday night, and this is a desperation game for the Raiders. They kind of need a win. It's difficult to see them winning, but we've seen the Chiefs be vulnerable. The Chiefs lost to the Colts. Let's not forget that.
Exactly. Yeah, let's not forget that. They would like you to forget that, but let's not forget that. What you got going on over there, Scott? It's not going to grow.
My beard? You just got to deal with it.
Oh, yeah, the Chargers with an interception. Let's go, baby. Brissett gives it up.
Isn't that what you said earlier about Jacoby late in the game making a play? The third down play, and he throws the pick.
There you go, right there. It goes the wrong direction.
And did that line close at Chargers -1.5?
That line closed at Browns -1. The Browns became the favorite right before kickoff. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, but most of the week though it was -2.5 Chargers, maybe -1.5, right? For most of the week.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
again, it opened up at 3 and it just kept dropping. Money coming in. A lot of money came in on the Cleveland Browns on this one. It's another sporting event. Oh, those things. What's that? Jabba Chamberlain?
Oh, the midget.
The midget. Yeah, it's supposed to be back this year.
Well, they said it in today's game. Did you see it? I haven't seen anything though.
I haven't seen anything either, but I hope the Yankees going to be there this week, right?
Yes, they will.
I don't like the sounds of that, Ronas. You know what I'm saying?
I actually think the Yankees win this series. I would be surprised if they lost.
How would you would enjoy it if they lost?
Right? No, I'd be thrilled, but yeah, I don't see them losing this series. I
think he'd be surprised, but surprise would be overcome with joy.
Cleveland's a product of a bad AL Central, in my opinion. So, I mean, look, it took them 15 innings to get a damn run against Tampa. But by the way, Breece Hall finally finds the end zone. So if you have Breece Hall, at least your day was salvaged. He's had a good day, 15 for 83 and a touch, and 2 receptions for 100 yards. So Michael Carter
still
did
9
steal
minutes
2
left in the game. This is why I don't watch live scoring. It's like you're going to be like, oh, Breece Hall's getting vultured, et cetera. And it could still happen later in the game. People always like, I'm down by 40 in the second quarter.
Well, no, I think with fantasy scoring, it's different. I'm with you on that. By the way, damn, man, Corey, you might get that damn Atlanta backdoor cover here, man. Freaking Mariota to Zacchaeus for 19 yards, man. Unbelievable.
Olamide Zacchaeus is a guy that I've been talking about for a few weeks. He's a big play guy. He's the Falcons' number 2 receiver. You could look at him as a potential prop any week, and in a deep fantasy league, when the matchup is right, you can play Olamide Zacchaeus.
Got the bye weeks coming up, so that could be a good piece of information.
Next week is the first week of bye. 4 teams on bye.
When you played Ronas in fantasy, Corey, did you ever consider
a
bye week?
Yes, many times. I think many times. It's been a while since. I think me and you playing the flex today.
We do.
I think so. I think
cool.
The flex is double headers now.
You play a team. You play a team, and then if you're beat the league average score, you get a win or a loss.
You got to read the rules before the season starts, Corey.
I did.
The first rule of fantasy.
Score now in Tampa Bay, 21-15. Marcus Mariota hooks up with, I can't see who that was on the jersey for a 2. It was not. I know it's not Kyle Pitts for a 2-point conversion. 21-15 now the score in Tampa. So Atlanta still holds on to some life in that one right there.
If this holds, that's a bad beat. If you have Tampa, they have thrashed Atlanta in this game. Yeah, man. But but that's why we talk about those double-digit spreads. You always have to be concerned with that backdoor cover.
Yeah, definitely something to look at, especially with those division teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt coming into this game that Atlanta, it's not the Atlanta the Buccaneers have been beaten up on. And the same thing for the Buccaneers. It's a bad throw just now by Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence does not look good today. Lawrence shows flashes, but then he also looks like Daniel Jones sometimes too.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know how many timeouts they have, but the ball's at midfield and the Texans have taken over. This would be a horrendous loss for Jacksonville for their divisional hopes.
And that'll be 9 straight losses to the Houston Texans.
Embarrassing.
That's and it's not like Houston is blowing it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Justin Fields. As the Bears were driving, Minnesota Vikings defender took the ball out of the hands, I believe, of Mooney. And now the Minnesota Vikings look like they're going to escape with a 7-point victory over their division rivals.
Good thing we didn't touch that Bears money line.
That was not Mooney. That was Smith, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that was St. Brown. Okay, cool. So that was, I couldn't get that name, but so
Aquanimus St. Brown is like their number 2 wide receiver right now.
Yeah. All right, so
tells you a lot about how they failed to build around the field.
Yeah, for real. Chicago has always been a place where like offense goes to die. You know what I'm saying? It's like they've never been a big offensive type team, but I mean they've reached new lows this year. Commanders have a 4th and 1 right now. Just under 4 minutes left to go in the game. Big spot for the Washington Commanders. They're down 4 right now at home versus Tennessee. Once again this week, respected money all over the Commanders. Carson Wentz having a decent game today, but big drive coming up right now as the game lies in the balance as we get inch closer and closer to the top of the 4 p.m. hour right here on the East Coast. Houston 13, Jacksonville 6. That game is winding down. Jacksonville trying to hop back in this one. 2-minute warning between New England and Detroit. New England up 29-0. Just saw a first down run for the Commanders. They are in Titan territory. See if they can try to get a victory in this one. They're going to need a touchdown. The field goal won't do anything for them. Haven't seen nothing from the Chargers and the Browns.
They just got a big first down to Mike Williams, so they might, depending on how many timeouts Cleveland has, they might be able to run out the clock. But they're in good shape because they just picked up a first down, and it looks like it'll be the 2-minute warning. So
that'll be a gritty win right there for the Chargers. Tough environment. They're coming in. They got the win.
Yeah, and look, they have to try and get as many wins as they can. You know, Keenan Allen's still been out. They have injuries with Slater on the line.
Bro?
I mean, I don't know if he was at practice and then he walked off with a trainer. So I don't know if he tried to get going and it got worse. But you know, he's around 30 years old, man. And with receivers, you do worry about them at that age. I mean, I do.
Respectfully, Adam, 30's not old for a wide receiver. You know, but
it's not Scott. I didn't say he's old. You start to worry about injuries. That's when the receivers start.
Well, have we already been worried about injuries? You know, with Allen in the past, though.
No, because to me they were fluke. It was a ruptured spleen and an ACL. So I never called them injury prone. Those are 2 fluke injuries. But now that you're 30, 31,
those injuries were back-to-back years.
Right.
But here's the thing: there was a thought process that this was Mike Williams' offense now as a WR1 coming into the season. With that being said, the way the season started, it was still Keenan Allen until he got hurt.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That was week 1, and didn't they play? Was it the Raiders? So they're pretty bad. I mean, look, I avoided Keenan Allen. I was worried about because of where he was going. So I liked Mike Williams better. Doesn't mean I'm right now, but I do worry about receivers around the age of 30 for injuries, man. I mean, in the NFL, that is old now. You have to worry about
in terms
injuries.
of production. I don't.
Well, I mean, he's not on the field now. He's already missed 4 weeks.
That's Keenan Allen. I mean, some players are more injury prone than others.
But Keenan Allen's not injury prone. I didn't think he was injury prone. That's not why. I'm just saying he was getting older, and a lot of his underlying metrics have been declining.
Yeah. I think when you point to Allen, you're correct. I'm just saying across the board, most receivers really don't start declining until about 32.
That was what Michael Salfino said that like those big receivers like Calvin Johnson, Julio.
Yeah, they break down.
They do.
Quickly,
Andre Johnson, man. Remember? They just fall off.
Mike Tagliere used to do great annual studies on when certain positions, when the players would break down, and he found that most receivers, the production would decline.
Hey, Corey, I got a question for you.
33.
Like, how do you feel? Like, if you were on Miami today and you took them, and obviously they're getting blown up by the Jets, but Bridgewater went out early. Like, do you just say, "Hey, that was bad luck and nothing I can do"?
The Jets looked like they was live to me. I would never bet the Jets because I kind of know better. But the Jets had looked live to me, and I just Bridgewater is not the same Bridgewater that he was when he was in.
So you're saying if you took Miami, you were on the wrong side today? I mean,
I didn't like Miami at all today. I didn't like Miami at all today. I didn't like Miami at all today. I lay, but I'm not going to bet the Jets. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I was looking at the over for this game because both of the defenses.
Does that change
33-17 now?
Have you seen enough from the Jets through 5 games that you changed the way you view them from a betting perspective?
I'm still not willing to bet on the Jets, even with them playing better so far this year. I think there's optimism, but they have, even in their situations, you know what I'm saying? They had a couple of comebacks. You know what I'm saying?
They had Braxton Berrios. Yeah, but okay, they had a comeback against the Browns. That was improbable. I know they need a lot of things to get right, but you give them credit. The game against the Steelers, I get it, but they won in Pittsburgh. Not an easy place to play for a Jets team that hasn't done much. And then they beat Miami at home today. I know it was the 3rd string quarterback, but
I think it's a dice roll if you're betting the Jets right now. I don't think it's I think it's in the middle of where some of you guys, where both of you guys are talking. I wouldn't say I'd stay away from them, but I'd have more confidence. But I don't think the consistency is there yet to the point where I would feel.
You know where they play next week?
Who?
I was going to ask you, do they play the Patriots next?
At Green Bay. The Green Bay
Here's
coming
the
off a
thing.
loss.
Now, here's the Green Bay is coming off a loss. That game is in Green Bay.
Right.
10.5. If you open that up at 10.5,
you got to take.
I would consider grabbing.
Oh,
the Jets.
I got to take the Jets at 10.5. I mean, I would take Green Bay on the money line, but the Jets got to cover that the way Packers are playing.
I would think so too.
Yeah,
I agree. Interesting too. The London teams. Okay, Minnesota win coming off the London game.
Saints.
The Saints. Well, still time to go. Seattle's got the ball with 7:40 left. Saints up 6. So because we're seeing some of these London teams, they don't have to bye the next week, and interesting kind of look at that. But I got to think Green Bay is going to be like ready to go this week. After that, they
should have been ready to. But they should be ready to go every week.
But
they haven't looked good.
I agree with you, but like sometimes, like, how do you handicap the travel to London? Maybe Green Bay took the Giants lightly, touring London. I mean, I don't know. It's possible.
Green Bay.
I don't think Green Bay's looked good this year.
They just haven't looked good this year. It's they're discombobulated on offense, and it affects the defense.
All right, looks like Jacksonville is getting ready to lose this game right here. All of a sudden, the Atlanta Falcons are the Grits Blitz. They've come to life, throwing Tom Brady all over the place. This right here, I think we got a situation that could be developing in Tampa right now. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. Let's take a break.
Divisional
come back,
games.
Get you ready for some fantastic finishes. Also get you our final leaderboard. We got some 4 p.m. Eastern time games about to kick off. Having a good time chilling with everybody right here on the Bettor Zone on BSN.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone for a better NFL game day experience.
Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
By the way, if you are a commissioner out there, if someone does not pay, that's on you at the end of the day. It sucks. That's why you have to get the money early, because if they don't pay, it's on you. You don't change the prize. A winner shouldn't be impacted because unfortunately you messed up as commissioner. And I've been caught with this before. I've made this mistake. It sucks, and I had to go out of pocket for it. You learn that maybe some of your friends should not be in that league. But Roan, we see it all the time with commissioner issues, and I can't stress it enough that when it comes down to league payment, it's on the commissioner if they don't have everybody's entry fee and someone decides to ghost them.
Yeah, I had to collect 36 entry fees this year. All of them were collected except one. And it was one of my friends who said he was going to pay the second. I forgot to remind him. He might even be listening, but I know he's going to pay. If not, I know where he lives. But nah, he'll pay. But yeah, I mean,
Big Brother Adam Rodas over here.
And even the guy that I've talked about before that usually always pays me at the end, he actually paid on time this time. He usually is like, I'll pay you on Friday, and then it doesn't come, and then it's 4 months later. And he always winds up paying. That's why I don't really get upset. But you've seen my emails, man. I don't play around. Like, this is the date. This is the date. You get it in by then. And I always, too, I'm like, the draft order will be determined when everyone pays. Right. So don't hit me up about the draft order. Once everyone pays, then the draft order will be done. And anyone who's been in this league, now Festy can't attest to this because he's never won money in my league, but the people who do win, they get it right away. Usually the next day or two. Just make sure the scoring, especially with football, no scoring changes, as long as it's not like a point victory, half a point, and then they'll get the money right away.
What about 2 points?
Yeah, I mean, wait it out just in case something crazy happens. I guess I don't wait till Thursday when the official scoring happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, a championship that I was in years ago got reversed, and I ended up winning on a Thursday stat correction.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. You hope it doesn't come down to that. If you're on the better end of that, it's great. But man, imagine thinking you won, you got the money, and then it changes. That's tough.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Zach Wilson, 3rd and goal
the Dolphin 5 with Brees Hall to his right. Takes the snap, drops back to throw, looks over the middle, dodging tacklers, runs to his right, dives to the end zone, lost the football, but he broke the play. That's a Jet touchdown. Zach Wilson got to the chalk before the ball popped out. He dives over for 6, and the Jets extend their lead.
2nd and goal inside the 1. Pierce the lone back. Mills under center. Now Hairston in the backfield. Offset eye. Handoff Pierce to the goal line. He's in! The Texans take the lead. A 1-yard touchdown run by Damien Pierce. Welcome back to Gator Country.
Better Zone.
All right, those highlights you heard just now, courtesy of the New York Jets and Houston Texans Radio Network. A pair of underdogs already with moneyline victories, the New York Jets and the Houston Texans. Chalk them up, put them on the board right there. Also, while we were away, Scott, you mentioned the name Ken Walker. He had a 69-yard touchdown run. We got a tie game. No, we have the Seahawks with a 32. All right, Scott.
Yeah,
Seahawks with a 32.
We'll get to it. I know he's been
I said an hour ago, I said Kenneth Walker's got a ton of upside if Rashad Penny gets injured, and that's what we saw. 69-yard run. This kid can take off once he hits the second level.
Jason Myers gives the Seahawks a 32-31 lead. Seattle now with the football, just over 6 minutes left. The Saints with the football, just over 6 minutes left to go in that game right there. Where are we at on some of these other games right now? I think, just had Cody York just missed a potential game-winning field goal. Los Angeles Chargers come into Cleveland and get the win. The final score, I don't see, what was the final score? 30-28?
28, yeah. And we
depending
said it was
on
gonna come down to the last possession. Oh my God.
There you go.
There goes Taysom Hill with a oh my God, man. This guy. He scored a huge rushing touchdown, man. I'm sick of
there
this
you go.
guy,
Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill breaks off a big running touchdown. Now the New Orleans Saints are back on top. Taysom Hill with a big run. Taysom Hill puts the Saints back on top right now. So we have
that was short-lived euphoria.
I mean, but no, honestly though, you expect that though with the Seahawks defense, right? Isn't this a team that we're just kind of playing guys against in fantasy every week?
Yeah, it's like
that's the defense.
These high-scoring games. Look at the game against Detroit. It's
right. Detroit, we expected because they sucked defensively.
I said last time I'm saying it. They really missed Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams. Not saying it again.
Yeah, there you go, right there. New Orleans Saints on top now at home. If you had the Seahawks with the points, you are going to right now is 37-32. That's still in play. So that's going to be interesting.
Well, they got to go for 2 here.
You would think so, right?
You have to. Yeah, it makes no sense to kick an extra point. You go for 2, try to push it to 7. So
there you go, right there. So you could still, if you're on the Saints, you still could cover that number. Obviously, this is going to be a big play right here with this 2-point conversion. You got the Commanders also in the red zone area-ish with 19 seconds left to go. It looks like the Saints will extend to a 39-32 lead over 5 minutes to go right there in D.C.
A big,
first and goal.
Big penalty on Tennessee for pass interference. Like you said, first and goal from the 2, man. That's a big penalty there.
Yeah, first and goal. Maybe Antonio Gibson punches one in for you, Corey.
That wouldn't be. I mean, I put a little bit on jock market, but I don't think it's going to land them in the top. But hey, you know what? Maybe so. Every little bit helps. You know what I'm saying?
The Falcons get the backdoor cover, bro. Unbelievable. Dude, it was 21-0 after 3, and Atlanta scores 15 in the fourth quarter, man. Oh, that's brutal.
Yep. Backdoor cover for the Atlanta Falcons. So you can see a lot. Once again, another theme that looks like early part of this week, we're seeing another theme come through with these underdogs. Now, the Buffalo Bills didn't waste no time. They annihilated Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. We cashed that ticket on the interception prop for Pickett. That one cashed. Big day for Josh Allen and all of the main weapons in Buffalo. They all had a big game. So there that goes right there. Seattle Seahawks Saints 39-37 right now, hanging in the balance. If the Seahawks can get down there, get some points, tie this one up, that can still be a underdog cover right there. the Jets covered and won as underdogs, 40-17 right now. The game is still going on, but the Dolphins not going to be able to catch them. I don't think so, at least. That'd be amazing if they do. Commanders, 2nd and goal at Tennessee 2. Commanders came into this game. This game went off as a pick. Right now, Commanders trying to get the outright victory. Also, the Chargers ended up flipping to an underdog this morning. They win 30-28. The Vikings, depending on where you got it, if you got the Vikings at 7, that pushes. You took the Bears at 7.5. That's the underdog cash. The Patriots, no problem, 29-0 over the Lions. Now let's get ready for this play. Also, the Texans cover, the Falcons cover as well. 2 underdogs. Texans win outright. It looks like, was that an interception?
No, almost.
3rd and goal. Yeah, almost. Carson Wentz tried to give it away.
What was he looking at on that play?
It's Carson Wentz. I couldn't tell you. I can't get Carson Wentz.
I'm a little behind. I'm a little behind you guys on my streaming here. Fubo TV is not the fastest.
We're gonna keep you up to date, Scott. We got you covered. You know what I'm saying? We are now into the.
I hate though hearing like Taysom Hill just rushed for a long touchdown.
Yeah, I know you want to.
Don't get me in trouble.
I
hear it. All right, I'll stop. I'm trying to be good. Matt gets on me all the time, and now Scott's throwing me under the bus. Thanks.
All right, we got 3rd and goal in DC. Well, we are down to the game changing plays right here. You know what I'm saying? 3rd and goal in DC. Carson Wentz. It is intercepted this time, picked up, and he may take it to the crib. He may go to the crib.
Nah.
There you go. Tackled right there. Tennessee Titans come into Washington. Will escape with a 21-17 victory.
Are you getting any texts on the Washington parade?
Yeah. Y'all better watch out.
Where are you?
Hello. Y'all better watch out.
Yeah, 1 week one. Where are you now? That's 4 straight L's.
Corey,
y'all better watch out. What's up?
Corey,
What's up, Scotty?
When you take it to the crib, what does that mean?
Yeah, take it to
familiar with that vernacular.
Well, back in the days of the original University of Miami, you know what I'm saying? When they would score touchdowns, they would say they taking it to the house. Stuart Scott then taking it to the Heezy. I took it. I'm gonna take credit for it. I took it and turned it into taking it to the. Okay. Yeah, I turned it into. I created the phrase "taking it to the crib." Y'all didn't know that?
No.
So you would think all the years I spent with y'all didn't know I created the phrase.
You talk about Babe Ruth not being real.
by the way, so you mentioned a coach potentially getting fired. I think he may get fired at halftime. Who was the coach you mentioned earlier?
Matt Rule.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco just marched down the field with ease. I mean, this team's embarrassing right now, man. And Tevin Coleman with a receiving touchdown. Like, what? Tevin
Coleman, he's still in the NFL?
Yeah.
As long as
he
Kyle
was like
Shanahan
a fifth stringer with the Jets last year.
I know.
As long as Kyle Shanahan got a job.
Yeah.
As long as the upset is Philly, not San Francisco, we'll see. Geno Smith looks like 3rd and 2. It's going to be 4th and 20. Geno Smith ran backwards, gets sacked. Sorry, Scott. Looks like the still 3 minutes left to go in this game, but right now it looks like the Saints are in charge.
Well, and Seattle just used their first time out. Still the 2-minute warning, so there's still a shot here. They can get the ball back.
Could get the ball back.
They stopped Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Scott, we all friends here. Where else do we have action at? Buffalo, that's done. A minute left to go in that game. Steelers not coming back. Steelers not even going to score in this game right here. Still keeping an eye on what's going on between the Saints and the Seahawks. That game is still going on. Saints have the football back right now, so they are good to go. Jets, Dolphins, that one is over. And we've already got a score between the 49ers and the Panthers. Let's get ready to take a final look at our leaderboard before we push into our 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, Kenny Pickett. That's Kenny Pickett. And Kenny Pickett is he getting into it with Ed Oliver? It's probably the last person I would want to fight.
Yeah,
but that's not Oliver, though. But still, that's a big dude, whoever he's fighting down there. They got, what happened, Ronas?
It looked like
in there mixing it up.
Pickett went to make a throw, and then the defender kind of came down low on him, so he got up and pushed the defender, and then everyone came together. So, the game is officially over now. So the Bills win 38-3. They were up 31-3 at the half, and really didn't do much in the second half. So As we expected, this was certainly a potential outcome.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The Buffalo Bills, like I said, keep that in mind going forward. The Buffalo Bills are very good at laying big numbers. They do it successfully all the time. That's something to keep in mind. Josh Allen right now, QB1 on the day, 36 fantasy points for Allen, 424 passing yards, 4 touchdown passes for Allen. I only bought 1 share of Allen in Jock Market. I should have just spent all the money on Allen because he is the player number 1 on the day. Geno Smith continues to get it done, Adam. 24 fantasy points, 268 and 3 touchdowns for Smith. Kirk Cousins, 296 and a touch. He also runs for a touchdown as well. QB4 right now, Carson Wentz, 22 fantasy points for Wentz, 358, 2 touchdowns. Scott, the Commanders fall short. Wentz has put up good fantasy numbers this year, but once again, interception in the big spot and no real balance on offense for the Commanders.
The first 2 weeks he put up good numbers,
He
friendly
did today, too.
matchups. The next 2
touches.
The next 2 games, terrible.
Okay.
Today, good matchup, good. Carson Wentz, you can go in on the props when the matchup is right. You can use them in fantasy when the matchup is right. Go into De'Ami Brown. That showed some composure because the Titans knew that he was going to try to hit Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin, so he went to his third receiver. I think when the matchup is right, you could look at Carson Wentz and props. You can look at Washington to possibly cover if it's a opponent that's in their range like the Titans.
Yep. Tom Brady, QB5, 19 fantasy points, 351, a passing touchdown for Brady. Marcus Mariota, 147 passing yards and a touchdown. Mariota also runs for 61 yards. So if you were on Mariota rushing props, that cashes. Justin Fields, 17 fantasy points, 208 passing yards for Fields, 15 completions for Fields, only 21 attempt, a passing touchdown.
Not a career
47 rushing yards. Hey, Ronas, for the most part, not a bad game from Fields. 208 passing, a passing touchdown, 47 rushing yards.
Yeah, but who's playing him in fantasy right now?
Nobody.
Even in a super flex league, it's risky. I mean, I know there's been injuries to the quarterbacks, but we talked about his pass attempts, 24.5. He went under at 21. So, there's a team that just doesn't have any confidence. They don't want him passing the ball. I mean, look, Darnell Mooney made a great catch today, right? He finished 2 for 52. Like, you can't play these guys right now. And I have Mooney. I like them, and I can't play him. How am I going to play him? I mean, there's no ceiling at all. I mean, the floor's low. I mean, you're like, oh, wow, he made a big play for 39 yards. I'm happy. I mean, that's not good enough. You can't win your fantasy week like
and
that.
Justin Fields was their leading rusher today. If you played, a lot of people on Khalil Herbert.
Montgomery came through, though. I know he only had 12 for 20, but he had a rushing touchdown and he caught 4 for 62. So in a PPR, he had 18.
I was going to get to that. He did salvage his day, but a lot of people are like, okay, I'm still playing Herbert. I was more like avoid the situation because we didn't know what was going to happen here. It's an unpredictable backfield. And we look at tomorrow night, you have something of an unpredictable backfield with Kansas City because they do have a committee. They're using Pacheco. He's looking good. They put in Jerick McKinnon as well. But Edwards-Helaire is the goal line guy.
QB8, Aaron Rodgers, 16 fantasy points in a loss, 222 passing, 2 passing touchdowns. Brissett, 230 passing, a passing touchdown, a nasty interception to end the game. Zach Wilson, QB10, 14 fantasy points, 2 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, 210 passing. He took a shot on that rushing touchdown. Hopefully he's okay. Justin Herbert, 14 fantasy points, 22 of 34, 228, a passing touchdown, 13 rushing yards. Not a good game from Herbert. Kenny Pickett right now, QB number 12. This is not what you want to see, Ronas, when you have a rookie quarterback. 327 passing yards, 1 interception, 34 of 52. Kenny Pickett should not be throwing the ball 52 times.
But again, I get it, but they're down 31-3 at the half. I mean, you knew this was a possibility, and you just got to throw him in there and let him get the experience. I mean, the Mitch Trubisky it wasn't working with him, so let Pickett learn on the job, see what he has. I mean, he's got good weapons. I mean, at least the receivers came through. Pickens 6 for 83. Deontay Johnson, 5 for 60. Even Claypool, if you roll the dice on him, 550. Freiermuth was the disappointment at 2 for 12. He did lead this game with a concussion, though. So Najee Harris, though, we talked about it earlier. It's a problem, man. 11 carries for 20 yards, 3 for 16. And obviously the game flow. And I don't see him catching as many passes as he did last year when Ben just wanted to throw at 2 feet.
Yeah, we talked about this before. Sometimes when a team falls behind, they can't pad their stats when playing from behind. So if you're looking for that fantasy-wise, if you're looking for that, for a team to come back and cover, sometimes the offense just isn't capable.
New Orleans Saints in the victory position now. They're going to successfully lay the 5.5 versus the Seattle Seahawks. 39-32. Looks like it's going to end up being the final. The Seahawks did just take a timeout. No, the Saints took a timeout, but looks like I said, they've got their first down. They should be able to wind the clock out after this. Running back number 1 on the day, 35 fantasy points in the PPR for Big Leonard Fournette. I tell you what, Scott, I did not expect to see this line from Big Leonard. 56 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, but 83 receiving yards on 10 catches, 11 targets, a receiving touchdown. Leonard Fournette is now the top receiver in Tampa.
Well, I'm not shocked if Fournette has an outstanding receiving day. I mean, we did see him catch a ton of passes in one year with Jacksonville, and he's versatile.
10,
with
that's a lot, though, Scott.
It is a lot. But Atlanta was obviously going to try to take away Mike Evans, and some of the others. Godwin, maybe he's not 100% here, but if you played the player props. You might have had some disappointments with the receivers, but with Fournette, you got what you wanted. And on the Seahawks, you're gonna have to continue to hammer the over with this team because the defense looks pretty bad.
Looks like a little bit. No fisticuffs, no fisticuffs. Everybody remain calm. But yeah, victory formation for the New Orleans Saints. Austin Eckler, RB2 on the day, 173 rushing yards. That's interesting. Oh, geez, the Browns. My God. 26 receiving yards. Yeah, that's crazy.
I thought they were going to have a solid defense, man. They've been bad, man.
Garrett played today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. With 173 rushing yards.
It's really the
Austin Eckler don't want to run the ball for 173 yards, and y'all let him do it anyway. Yeah. He
First
also
it was
had
the pass defense. Now it's the run defense. This is another team you're going to have to hammer the over against.
Cleveland Browns lose today at home. Eckler goes for 35 fantasy points. Big game for Eckler. Break up the New York Jets. They have a 40-17 win over the Miami Dolphins. I'll be hard-pressed to find out the last time the New York Jet organization scored 40 points. One of the big reasons for that today was the play of running back Breece Hall. Breece Hall has 2 catches for 100 yards. 97 rushing yards in this rushing touchdown in the Jets' victory.
Yeah, give Joe Douglas a lot of.
Zach Wilson under center. Ruckert motion. Toss to the right to Breece Hall. Cuts it back. At the 5. Down inside the 1 with a flag down. He's in the end zone for a touchdown if the play stands.
What was you saying about Joe Douglas, Scott?
Yeah, give him a lot of credit. He got turned down in the Tyreek Hill trade. He wasn't able to get veterans, but he's drafted well to give Zach Wilson a good supporting cast. There's some upside with this Jets team. When you're looking at team totals, etc., things like that. They're a good team to bet on. When we were talking about before, do you want to take them on the spread or the money line? It's a little bit more tricky, but with player props and, overs, things like that, team totals, the Jets are looking like, tempting.
King Henry, Derrick Henry, 102 rushing yards on the day, 2 rushing touchdown, also cashes his receiving prop, 2 receptions for 30 yards for King Henry. Dalvin Cook, 94 rushing yards for Cook, 2 touchdowns for Cook, also 2 catches for 27 yards. And was able to play the whole game. No shoulder injury for Dalvin Cook. Nick Chubb, 25 fantasy points. Chubb has been getting it done this season, Ronas. 134 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns for Chubb. In a lot of my leagues, I made decisions between Javonte and Chubb. I wish I'd have took Chubb a little bit more than Javonte, especially obviously now with the injury, hindsight being 2020. But the lack of pass catching that has plagued Chubb fantasy-wise for years, when you're running for 100 and something yards a game, his rushing prop today, Ronis, was 92.5, and he cleared it with no problem.
I know, and he's been doing it every week. That's now 4 games of at least 113 yards rushing out of 5 games. And I told you the prop that I keep playing as longest rush over 18.5, cashed again. The difference with Chubb this year is he's scoring touchdowns every single week. I agree with you. That was I think Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in football, and I had him in fantasy a lot the last couple of years. I backed away this year because I'm like, all right, fine. If he has a game where he has 84 rushing yards but doesn't score and he's not catching passes, it's 8.4. And he had games like that last year. But this year he's scoring every single game outside of week 1. And in week 1, he had 141. He can catch the football. It's in his skill set. They don't utilize him that way. But I think with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, they're leaning more on the run now, probably just waiting, for Deshaun Watson. Now, they are 2-3 at this point. But, yeah, Nick Chubb, I mean, you can't argue what he is as an NFL running back. The discussion with fantasy is different. And I know people are like, oh, I told you so with Chubb. He's scoring touchdowns. I thought he was like a poor man's Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry would get 350 to 400 carries. Chubb would be in the 250 to 280 range. And I think the most touchdowns he scored in the season, if I'm not mistaken, is 8 ever. I don't think he's gotten – no, okay, he had 2020 at 12. Every other year it's 8. That's not good enough over 16 games, but he's well on his way to shattering because every year in the NFL, he's averaged at least 5 yards per carry. So it's not him. But you're right about the passing game, the lack of passing game work. That lowers your floor. But if he's going to score touchdowns every week, we're looking at Derrick Henry of recent years.
All right, there you go right there. Now let's hit Alvin Kamara, running back 7 on the day. 23 fantasy points for Kamara, 91 receiving yards, 103 rushing yards. This is crazy. My phone, like the voice recorder on my phone for some odd reason turned on. And I'm just texting somebody to leaderboard through a voicemail. Damien Pierce.
Hopefully, it's not a good-looking woman, man. She's like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
As I know, as much. Why is he talking about?
What if she's a football fan?
You never know. Thank you, Scott. What's wrong with Adam trying to get us canceled? My goodness, Damien Pierce.
This is something new.
What did I say that was so wrong?
You'll get a list after the show.
Damien Pierce, 20 fantasy points, 99 yards rushing, a touchdown also for Pierce, 14 receiving yards. Saquon Barkley, 70 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, also caught 3 passes for 36 yards. Scott, you know what? Ramondre Stevenson, 161 rushing yards today. Stevenson having a day, why don't you? Only 19 points in the PPR, no touchdowns, only 2 catches. But, I mean, he ran all over the Lions.
Well, who doesn't? It's
yeah, you're right.
That's the worst run defense in the NFL. I was surprised because I really liked him to be an anytime touchdown scorer. But you knew that they were going to rely on the running backs with Bailey Zappi at quarterback, who actually threw a touchdown pass to Jacoby Myers. But the Lions right now, everybody talked about how the dynamics were changing. Right now, they're 1-4 right now. So. When you're betting against them, you got to like the team totals very often against the Lions. You got to hammer those player props. I don't know who Detroit plays next week, but that's what's that?
They have a bye.
Bye going to rush for 2
so they won't
start the bye.
Yeah, the defense won't be assaulted next week. Okay, good.
All right, there you go, Raheem Mostert. 113 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown for Mostert. Also had 9 yards receiving. RB12, David Montgomery made the start today. Gave you 18 points in the PPR. Only had 20 rushing yards, but did score a touchdown. Also caught 4 passes for 62 yards. On to our wide receivers. Right now on the day, WR1, Gabe Davis. Nice bounce back week for Davis. Are y'all frozen on your red zone, or is that just me?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Why my internet is? I'm still on the show though, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
gotta stop using that rabbit ears.
Is Corey still here? Do you hear him?
I'm still here.
The Patriots won. I thought you still have your electric.
Yeah, this week. I don't know why. I'm just spinning right now with I don't know. hopefully we get everything back and work it. Gabe Davis, wide receiver 1, 32 fantasy points, 171 yards. Justin Jefferson gets it done. Another 30 burger from Jeff. 12 catches this week, 154 yards for Jeff, a 2-point conversion as well. WR3, Tyler Lockett, 5 catches, 104 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns for Tyler Lockett. The Washington Commanders gave it all they could today. Once again, they were steamed this week, but they lost once again. This time a 21-17 loss versus the Tennessee Titans. In that game, though, wide receiver Damien Brown, 24 fantasy points, 2 catches for 105 yards, and here is one of his 2 receiving touchdowns.
Wentz takes the snap, steps back, lobs one up towards Damien Brown. One-handed catch! Touchdown! Touchdown, Washington! A one-handed, left-handed catch, and the second of the game for Brown.
You know, Ronas, to talk every week about this Commander team, and it looks like we're off to another poor season for the Commanders. With that being said, I keep mentioning this. At some point, you got to think Ron Rivera is going to be on the hot seat.
Yeah, man. I mean, especially with the parity in the NFL today, and you're sitting there at 1-4. Yeah, it's just not good for this football team right now. And we kind of knew going in. I actually thought they were going to be the worst team in the division. I thought the Giants would be improved. I'm stunned they're 4-1, but I thought Dable was a good hire. So I thought Washington was the worst team in the division. So I'm not too stunned by this.
All right, there we go. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
What is this? Wait a minute. Wait a minute now. Before we continue with these wide receivers, how about them Cowboys? Is that what we talked about? So how about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
Calm down, it's early. Calm down.
DeMarcus Lawrence, after a sack of Stafford, picks the ball up and returns it for a touchdown.
Yeah, this is why I was saying it earlier. I just couldn't see them.
Wait a minute. Did he have the hat trick, Ronas? He had the sack, the recovery, and a touchdown?
No, I think Armstrong forced it.
Yeah, this is what I was saying before. The Rams have a lot of problems, you know, and Dallas's defense is playing very good, although they look a little wacky on special teams right now.
I have not seen that yet. Back to these wide receivers. Told you about Damien Brown. Steph Diggs, wide receiver 5 on the day. Diggs, 24 fantasy points. Look at Diggs. All right. Steph Diggs, 24 fantasy points, 8 catches, 102 yards. Jacoby Myers. Oh, my God. Jacoby Myers, 7 for 111 and a touchdown for Jacoby Myers.
Career game.
Myers. Big Mike Williams, 10 catches from 134 on a touch. Mike Williams the past couple weeks showing up. He gets 23. Amari Cooper also getting it done. 7 catches for 76 yards. DK Metcalf, 17 fantasy points, 88 receiving yards and a touchdown. MJJ, Marvin Jones Jr. for the Houston Texans for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 7 catches, 104 yards. Randall Cobbs, another touchdown for the Cowboys, or another mistake
for Corey.
Randall Cobb for WR11, 16 fantasy points, 7 catches for Cobb. You know what I'm saying? And 1999 receiving yards. And then Adam Ronis, the guy that you picked up this week for the Buffalo Bills, he had 75 receiving yards, 3 catches, and a touchdown. He is a little brother to Tupac Shakur. His name is Khalil Shakur.
Shakir.
I think I played him in a couple leagues. There were a couple I didn't. My home league, I picked him up, but I have Diggs and Davis. So I'm like, I can't start 3 Bills. I probably should have. It would have worked out, but you don't want to do that every week. But I did start him in a couple leagues, and I was actually surprised. Our GST league, I lost him. I was like, damn. So someone else was on him too. I thought he was a sneaky under the radar pickup this week, early in the week too. You know, I kind of sensed that Mckenzie probably would be out. I knew Crowder was going to be out, so I was able to get him pretty cheaply in a lot of leagues. And then I think as the week went on, maybe people started to look at him. But yeah, I mean, he could play a role in this offense. We'll see though on Mckenzie's injury, because Mckenzie was a part of this offense before that concussion.
Yeah, he's a versatile, dynamic. He's a versatile and dynamic player. So you know that's the thing about Buffalo. You know, it's a next man up mentality. You know, they have quality depth, but you know, you saw James Cook score late. You have to remember what the game script there was before we start thinking about, hitting on James Cook props.
All right, top tight ends today so far. Taysom Hill is tight end 1. He's a quarterback, but he's tight end 1. 34 fantasy points for Hill, 112 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. You could have.
And he threw a touchdown pass too.
One of them.
Yeah, I wonder how many people started him at tight end this week.
If they did, they got a hell of a
Yeah,
boost
he
with
was
those
my
34
top
fantasy
recommended
points.
week up.
I know we heard you,
pickup,
Scott,
yeah.
like 5 times say that. Congratulations.
Ronald,
Want
let Scott
6?
get his love. There you go,
Yeah.
Scott. Roto arrogance is back.
Roto arrogance at its best. He doesn't care about anybody's picks but his own.
We gave you credit. You said it 18 times. So every time we bring up Taysom Hill, yeah, he was my top guy this week.
Is that how I sound?
No, you sound worse, but I didn't want to be that hard.
Really?
All right, tight end 2, David Njoku. Njoku, 6 catches for 88 yards. Njoku, I'm thinking is starting to be safe, and I cut him in the league, and then all of a sudden he's starting to turn it around.
After
So
week
shout out
1,
to-
you cut him, or week 2?
And after week 2, I cut him.
Me too, bro. It sucks. I was with
Wow,
you.
what
'cause I
a
thought he was-
mediocre fantasy analyst you are.
Yeah, you don't make any mistakes.
I did. I recommended you to get hired originally.
I made a mistake showing up today.
Oh, what's up with that?
Only
Scott?
because I'm dealing with you. That's it. Otherwise, it's been a lot of fun.
All right, okay. All right, let's Evan Ingram is tight end.
Come on,
3,
corporate
12
Corey, get it together.
Yeah, corporate Corey's
Steer
trying to
this
pull it
ship.
together. And I'm trying to. My red zone is still spinning out, so I want to get to a break so I can see what's going on. But Evan Ingram,
You send him some money, Cody, so he can pay your streaming.
I know,
bill.
geez, man.
everything is up to date. Ingram, 12 fantasy points, 6 receptions, 69 yards. Adam Troutman, 32 receiving yards, 2 receptions and a touchdown. Daniel Bellinger, 22 receiving yards and a touchdown. The rest of these tight ends, you guys don't know. You didn't play. You know what I'm saying? So there we go right there. That's where we stand. Dallas Cowboys have a 6-0 lead in early action in that game. Defensive. Did the Cowboys miss the kick or did they go for 2?
Yeah,
There was a wild thing with the kick.
They didn't even get the
Fumble
kickoff.
Snap. Yeah, they didn't even get it off.
49ers 7, Panthers nothing. I think the Panthers nothing may stand up all game.
Well, they missed a 41-yard field goal.
So there you go, right
Might
there.
stand up. Remember, I was
after a
saying,
San Francisco turnover.
what was it? Plus 1,200 on the shutout.
That's always a good call right there. The Eagles in the red zone. AJ Brown just caught a pass, and we're starting to see the Los Angeles Rams move the football. I can tell you already, Dallas pass rush is going to be a problem for the Rams today. Eagles in the red zone as well. When we come back on the other side, we'll look at some of the fantasy players who did not return the proper value today. It is the Bettor Zone.
Hang out in the Bettor Zone, where you track NFL live action on Bettor Sports Network. The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for
I eat
waffles.
breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's
Well, first
the
of all, I wouldn't
equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got the steak sandwich, which was
Steak
excellent, by
sandwich
the way.
at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an
I'm
odd
not an
guy.
odd guy. I
Yes,
didn't
you are.
eat breakfast.
Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough, smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that. No,
Alfredo. That's what he gets at the steakhouse.
Do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse to get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look. You know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles, man.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Malcolm Brown is checked in at running back. Stafford is under center on 3rd and 1. And play fake. Sack. And the ball came out. And Dallas picks it up. It's Lawrence coming left to the 5 and into the end zone. And it looks like a Dallas touchdown.
We want to hear what you're sweating on NFL game day. Get into the Better Zone on Better Sports Network.
All right, that Dallas Cowboy touchdown courtesy of the Cowboys Radio Network. Right now, Dallas Cowboys in the red zone already with a 6-0 lead. First quarter action in Los Angeles. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys in Los Angeles. That means it's a home game for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott still inactive. Cooper Rush makes his, I believe, 4th straight start for the Dallas Cowboys on this one. Right, the Cowboys blocked the kick, too. Oh, my God. There's a lot going on. Boy, I don't know. Boy, I tell you what, the Rams turned the ball over a lot. I can't hear y'all.
You know, I think a lot of things broke right for them last year, but they have some issues right now. They have not looked good most of this year.
No, they haven't. There's no running game. You know, even though Jalen Ramsey's out there, the pass defense hasn't looked good. You know, they lost.
Matthew Stafford hasn't looked good either.
Yeah, Von Miller. And Matthew Stafford has overcome adverse situations. I mean, he played in Detroit for more than a decade. So you think he would improve, but you know, the team around him just is not good. You know, and look at the way the Cowboys are running the ball right now, too.
So right now, Dallas 3rd and 5, America's game of the week. Also, while we were away, Philadelphia Eagles get in the end zone. I believe it was Jalen Hurts.
I thought Houston and Jacksonville was America's game of the week.
No, America's game of the week is on Fox. It's Dallas and
it was a joke.
Oh, you were being funny. Oh, I'm about to say.
I guess it wasn't too funny though. So
I'm about to say senility is setting in for the king.
Corporate Corey.
Yeah, I thought you were a good fantasy player. I must, you know.
Good memory. Yeah, at one time, way back in the day, Scott. 3rd and 5 right now. Cowboys opening drive. I want to hop into some of the teams. I mean, some of the players that did not fare well for their fantasy owners today. And let's start with the running backs, Ronas. Antonio Gibson, 3 catches for 6 yards, 3 catches for 33 yards. Antonio Gibson not having a good day today. Najee Harris, also just 11 carries for 20 yards, 3 catches for 16. Damien Harris, 4 carries, left the game with an injury. Rashard Penny also left the game with an injury. But it's Harris, Ronas, who is the one that is really an issue for fantasy owners.
Oh, Gibson is. But, I mean, I think you saw this coming.
You don't think Harris is too?
But Gibson more because he's got to deal with McKissick as a pass-catching back and Brian Robinson. I expect them to involve him more going forward. Yeah, Najee's a problem. And I only drafted him in one league, and it was a draft back in June. And then as I looked through things, I started lowering him on the board and put Barkley over him because I had Barkley ranked 5th going into the year at running back. But yeah, as I looked into it, I'm like, you know what? There's going to be a problem. Their offensive line and their quarterbacks are just not going to throw the ball, whether it was Trubisky or Pickett. They're just not going to dump it off to Najee. Najee benefited from Roethlisberger last year. So yeah, Najee Harris is going to be a problem. And you kind of saw it coming with this offense and their offensive line. He's not a big game breaker. You know, he doesn't break off big plays. He was a product of huge volume last year, and that volume is drying up.
That's 100%. He's not – I don't want to say he's not that talented, but it was the volume last year.
Yeah,
But
he's not a big breakaway runner. It's like
again. He's not Nick Chubb.
It's like Joe Mixon in a bad offense, sort of. And I think Harris is the bigger problem of the two because a lot of people drafted him at the end of the first round or early in second. So he's a bigger problem with Gibson because people were already skeptical about Gibson coming into the year.
Is there anything that can make it better? The quarterback play is going to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Is it?
Yeah.
Is there any reason for optimism for Harris?
If he gets traded, possibly, but yeah, I think there is because Kenny Pickett. I think over time you have to have patience with rookie, especially as a quarterback. But the offense will open up. But I think there are better games ahead. But you can't count on any consistency right now. And I didn't have him ranked in my top 15 at running back this week.
Yeah, their schedule coming up though: home to Tampa, at Miami, at Philly. Home to the Saints, home to the Bengals.
He can get it done against Miami because teams can roll up points against the Dolphins. That defense is not looking good.
Kyler Murray just picked off Philadelphia Eagles. Get the football back around midfield. This is a fade. The Cardinals are a fade spot at home all the time. The Cardinals don't play well at home. You can sometimes
they don't play well in the first half, man. Their first halves have been absolutely atrocious.
And the Eagles own.
I don't think they've scored a point in the first quarter this season.
I think if I remember correctly, they're averaging like 4 points in the first half, something really bad like that.
I don't think they've scored a point in the first quarter at all this year.
That might be correct. They have been really bad.
It probably is correct. It's coming from me, so
that's true. If it's a mistake, I expect it from Corey.
Yeah, good way to turn that one around, Ronas.
Wow, boom, boom, boom.
That was good. It went right across the board. Bang, 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 and the shot back to me. You know, the corporate Corey had to eat.
Yeah.
Pause. All right, wide receiver loser board for the day. Christian Kirk, 1 catch for 11 yards. Zay Jones, 3 catches for 12 yards. St. Brown, 4 catches for 18. Jalen Waddle with the backup quarterback, 3 for 23. Elijah Moore, you can put him on here, 1 catch for 11 yards. Your boy St. Brown, Ronas, it looked like Bill Belichick made it. Bill Belichick owns Jared Goff when you saw that in action today.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to touch his props today because he was coming off the ankle injury. They said he was a game-time decision. I thought there was a chance he would sit with them on bye last week, but they put him out there. So, yeah, I wasn't touching any props for St. Brown this week. The first couple weeks were good, but, coming off an injury in this matchup, not touching it.
A great receiver, but the injury and the tough matchup, obviously. I mean, New England's top cover corner has been playing fantastic. Like, I think he's rated like top 3 on Pro Football Focus.
You trust PFF rankings?
It depends. Like sometimes I'll look at them, and I don't really think there's an absolute answer to that. But I think it's applicable to New England.
Yeah, no doubt. I just was asking, your opinion on that.
What do you think of DVOA?
Nothing. air yards, Scott. That's air yards.
Air yards. What do you think of air yards, Corey?
That's that air yards talk. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I can't. I never got past A-dot. A-dot is as analytical as I can get, and that's average depth of target.
Yeah.
Ah, very good.
Yeah,
very good. What do you think he thought it was, Ronas?
Average. Forget it. Scott's just trying to get me in trouble. Man. It's unbelievable.
I just asked the question.
Nah, we see your intentions there with that smile.
Yeah, exactly, Scott. You're not slick, Scott. You know what I'm saying? So there goes our players who have not been performing today. If you got somebody on your fantasy team not living up to expectations, give us a call. Maybe we give you a brand new diagnosis on that.
You have the leaderboard for underperforming hosts, right?
Yes.
Ronas was saying the Matt Rule of hosts.
I am not the Matt Rule of hosts. I am the Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing a good job, Corey.
Who else going?
Excellent. Not a good. I don't know, Scott, but has anyone ever told you you're not a good liar?
Ronas is a terrific guy.
My point. See, there you go.
See? I think Corey froze. Oh, okay, there he is.
Oh my God! Big play. Well, it was a big play by that Allen Robinson?
No, come on.
No.
You can't get that.
That's
was
definitely
on
a mistake. That's definitely
that was on Trayvon. I know, right? That was on Trayvon Diggs as well, right?
Yeah, it was Note Boom. Yeah, we know Diggs gets beat often, you know?
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that. I like the big plays. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, it was Atwell.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Tutu Atwell sighting. How about that? Jalen
Tutu
Reagor and
getting
Tutu Atwell sightings today.
It was a good catch.
That was good defense. Yeah. So that was a good catch.
Diggs was
so
right there. It just went right past
Diggs was
his
right
man.
there.
Good throw, and he held on to it. That was a good play.
So you got 1st and 10 right now for the Detroit Lions. At about the 12-yard line. Dallas stops the run on that first play right there. Is there anybody that we would say after today's results, okay, this team could possibly be in trouble? I tell you what, Scott, the Packers stick out. 3-2 on the season. They have not looked good. Didn't score in the second half today. 27-22 losers to the New York Giants, despite being 8-point favorites across the pond. That's what they say, right across the pond.
Yeah, but the Packers. You know, we've been through it a few times. You know, just no potency on offense, and I don't think they've adjusted. It forces the defense to spend a lot of time on the field. Also, the Lions too. I actually laid down a futures for the Lions to make the playoffs. I thought they were going to be better coached this. You know, Dan Campbell. A lot of talent on offense. They drafted well on defense. And, you know, that team's in a lot of trouble. Jacksonville, too. I mean, people laugh and say, why the Lions? But I thought there was going to be a better outlook for the Lions this year.
Ronas, outside of that, I think we saw a lot of things today that we expected to see. The Dolphins and the Jets, if you chalk that one up to injury, I didn't see the Jets scoring 40 points. Tampa Bay gets the win. Did they score in the second half, Tampa Bay? Let me check that.
Think so. Yeah, look.
They didn't score in the second half.
You have to wonder if the Buccaneers are in trouble.
The Buccaneers scored. Yeah, the Buccaneers scored a touchdown. The Buccaneers scored 8 points in the second half.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing with them is that division sucks. You know, Carolina and Atlanta are not a threat, so it comes down to the Saints. How good the Saints always play Tampa tough, but Tampa did win that first matchup. That's the thing. That division. Is there anyone there that is capable? Even with Tampa Bay not looking like they were the last few years, and I think we all felt that going to the year, but who's beating them in this division?
Nobody.
That's
Atlanta for certain. Carolina, are they going to win a game?
Carolina might not win a game, for real.
Yeah, Carolina looks terrible. The Saints have dealt with a lot of injuries, but but let's be serious. Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton leading that offense, they're not winning no division.
No, not going to happen.
But that's also why I don't think you can't dismiss the Packers because of that division too. I mean, Detroit and Chicago
that's true too. As you take temperatures of these teams, they're not as good as you thought they were, as people thought they were going to be.
But I never think the Packers are good every year.
Yeah, it's true.
Still like what?
I agree with you.
I still like
never going for the
Minnesota
Super Bowl.
better.
That Kirk Cousins is tough. Kirk Cousins is going to do something stupid.
I didn't say he was going to win a playoff game. I just said they were going to win the division.
I mean, look, Minnesota's the best opponent they faced was Philadelphia, and they were not even competitive. They lost 24-7. They beat the Lions, where they came from behind. They beat the Saints, where I thought the Saints kind of outplayed them, and they got fortunate to win. And they beat the Bears. I mean,
they outplayed them last week.
They beat who they're supposed to beat. You know,
okay, but that's fine, Scott. But we're looking forward, and you have to rate teams on who they've played. You can't just go, "Oh, they're 4-1, they're great." You can't do that.
I'm not doing that. What I'm saying
yes, you
is
are.
No, what I'm doing, I'm doing what you're not doing. I'm saying, "Oh, they only beat this team, or they only beat that team, or they had to come back to." Winning teams win when they're supposed to win, and that's what they've done. I don't think they're a great team, but the Packers haven't been doing that. We know the Lions and the Bears aren't good, so
and the
by
Packers
deduction, I like
Minnesota.
I like the Vikings the best. I'm not one of those guys who said, "Oh, they only beat this team, and this team." They won. They beat who they're supposed to beat.
Yeah, but again, when you're projecting forward and trying to figure out how good a team is, you have to look at that stuff.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I just said that I don't think they're going to win. If they lose a playoff game right out of the gate, it wouldn't shock me. But
we're not talking playoffs, though.
I'm talking about the division. the Packers even haven't won games that they're supposed to. So
all right.
They're the best of the worst.
Okay, so basically they're Minnesota's 4-1, so they won the division. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying I think they will win the division.
Okay, put money on it.
Okay.
That's
That's what we're here for. The better, you're catching on, Ron. This is the Better Sports Network.
All right, so show me the ticket then. You're so confident.
Oh, he said show him the ticket, Scotty. Keep trying to call you a fraud, Scotty. He said show him the ticket.
I'll do it.
Take a screenshot and send him the text message.
He's talking like it's a lock, so lock it in then.
I didn't say it was a lock. I'm just saying I like it the best, you know? I see Roto Arrogance is back if I go against Roto Lock. Yeah.
You just get mad because someone's challenging you on your team?
No, I don't get mad at all. It's like
right,
I'll be very happy when the Packers win the division, and you're right. I'm not even
saying the Packers win the division. I've been down on them every year. They overachieve and they get exposed in the playoffs. But I'm saying like it's too early to say, oh yeah, the Packers are in trouble because he could turn it around. He hasn't worked with these rookie receivers and some of these receivers.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point. But I think Minnesota's finding ways to win.
Couple of games to handicap for tonight action. I guess this is not really going to get a true biased handicap in this one. But tonight at Citi Field, Joe Musgrove and Chris Bassett on the mound. New York Mets $1.35 favorite. Total sitting at 6.5. Ronas, can you handicap this unbiasedly as possible?
No,
I mean I'm not betting it. No, I mean look, as a Mets fan, I'm nervous. You know, there's no doubt about it. I think they showed up yesterday. I said that Lindor and Alonso had to show up. They did. They each hit home runs. Alonso with the big home run to put him up 3-2. DeGrom did not have his best stuff. Fifth inning was huge. First and third, 1 out, 2 strikeouts to end it. Came out in the 6th with an easy inning. I kind of thought they should let him start the 7th. They didn't. They brought in Diaz. It worked out in the end, but you know, Diaz threw 28 pitches yesterday. Ottavino 30+. How sharp are they going to be if you need to go to them? I think Bassett should be better than he was in Atlanta. I think the Mets win, but I'm not putting money on it. I mean, you know, San Diego's a solid squad, man, and Musgrove's pitched well lately. And San Diego has the bullpen set up better. They can go to Suarez, Garcia, and Hader. So they have their bullpen set up better.
They didn't use Hader yesterday either. It's like,
so
I'm taking the under here though, because we know how good of a year Musgrove has had, and you know Bassett in a big spot. I think he's going to show up. The Mets did score 7 runs yesterday, but this could be like a little bit like Philadelphia yesterday and Cleveland, where it's a very decisive game, especially. And I think the pitching is going to make a big difference here. So I'm going with the under here.
I like Cincinnati. I'll take. Even if the game closes at 3, I'll buy the hook. I like the Bengals getting 3.5 tonight. I think you have a big night tonight, particularly. I'm looking at
the over.
I'm looking at T. Higgins props as well.
Yeah,
anything on and T. Higgins.
Tyler
props.
Boyd, anytime touchdown scorer.
Scott likes Tyler Boyd as an anytime touchdown scorer. Scott, thanks a lot, my man. Good to hang out with you today. Tell us what you got going on. People can get your work at, and if you have anything else that you want to tell us about, Scott, we'll be happy to hear it before we get up out of here.
Yeah, I picked Taysom Hill. Yeah. Anyhow, check me out at thegameday.com for all my fantasy and betting advice. My waiver report will be up tomorrow. I do sleepers and Tuesdays, and later in the week you'll see my game and prop bets. And follow me at Scotty the King.
There you go, right there,
Twitter.
the King, Scott Engel. Ronas, we know where you at 5 to 7 every day. 5 to 7 weekdays, you and my man Justin Fensterman on the playbook right here on the Better Sports Network.
That's right, and fantasyalarm.com. And by the way, Rashad Penny, a fractured tibia.
Ooh, it's a broken leg. Darn it. Ken Walker, definitely a big waiver wire addition coming up this week if he's out there.
He's rostered in a lot of leagues, though.
I'm about to say he's rostered in most spots too. So yeah, it's probably you got some Yahoos and stuff like that. Yahoo leagues. Let me say that. I mean, you call me a Yahoo?
Corporate Corey is losing it.
Yeah, the show's about 10. Yeah, and this is the amount of time of the day where corporate stuff starts to wear off. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes the fantasy executive.
Yeah. Will it ever wear on for Adam though?
Whoa. All right, fellas. Want to thank everybody for rock and rolling with us today. For my main man, the King, Scott Angle. For Adam Ronis, I'm Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. Thanks to everybody making us sound good, to produce and stuff. Listen, good times every week. Coming up next, stay right here, though. The Better Zone continues with Holden Kushner and Pilar Lastra, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you.